Welcome in, everyone, to episode. Is it 188 or is it 189?
Yeah, it's 188.
188.
Oh, 188. I don't know. Sometimes I get my numbers confused. 188 of the HurricaneKaz podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng. Fresh out of getting hacked, and I'm joined by HurricaneKaz, who glad to see you here. Hopefully, you're feeling better.
Yes, happy to be here.
Yeah, you
happy
look
to
like
not be stuck in bed anymore.
Yeah, the sickness I gave you has gone away. And,
yes, yeah.
Hopefully you don't get hacked after this one too, because then things will be really wild.
I swear, Caleb.
Oh no!
No one's gonna be as stupid as me, but I say that. But I'll tell you the story. Joined by Josh and Tristan as well, Twastell, and let me get delay check. Tristan, all right. When you hear the word now, tell me when you hear it. Right. 1, 2, 3, now.
Oh no!
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Ooh.
What was
No,
that? Like
there's
4 or
no
5
way.
seconds? No,
No
I believe
way.
it. I think it was like 4 or 5 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I as you said it, Tristan's camera froze.
How is it so delayed? I don't
I don't
Yeah,
understand.
because
but-
he also said now, like right after you said it, and I'm like, is he responding already?
No, he was responding to me saying the prompt the first time around. Like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
say it, when I say it now. And he's like, oh, okay. It just happened to
Yeah.
sync up. I'll do
I
my best to sync things up, but because I think last episode I did an okay job at doing it. Like, I had to like line things up and then speed them up a little bit. But
Yeah, I will say I did listen to the previous episode while I was stuck in bed, and yeah, sometimes the delay doesn't seem so bad, but then other times, and I think it's like most prominent when we're trying not to like talk over one another. We're trying not to like make sure that Tristan can say what he wants to say. So sometimes those I think are the longest pauses is when we're like,
yeah.
let's everybody get on the same page.
Oh, you know what we could try doing? We could try using this symbol on the left-hand side where
Right.
like the hand raising thing. So like if I put my thing up, it says I have something to say. So anytime Tristan wants something to say, we just see it and we like stop, right?
Yeah.
Try that and see, Tristan, if you don't mind.
Okay.
But the hand raising thing. So that way well, I wonder if the hand raising thing has the delay too though. But
Oh,
hand is raised.
interesting.
He has raised his hand.
He has raised his hand.
Okay, hang on. Let's do a reverse thing. So
Oh,
Tristan,
gosh.
hit the hand raise and say now as you click it, and we'll see if there's any.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That
No.
wasn't too bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
it does
wonder
come up
if
before.
his hand raising thing isn't as much on delay. I wasn't sure if Tristan was going to say something the first time around when he raised his hand. So I was just waiting, but he didn't say anything. He just wanted to raise his hand for no reason. So,
Yeah.
but
Oh no, I was just testing it out.
yeah,
the
well, I
first time.
understand that now. In hindsight. Anyway, so my apologies if this episode comes out a little bit later than usual. We were supposed to record yesterday, but I have a little story for you all. I got hacked on Wednesday night, and then I was fighting for my life to get my Google stuff back. All right, so my co-hosts don't even know what exactly happened. So let me tell you, right? I didn't click on no Discord like a link thing or whatever. But long story short, someone reached out to me. You all know that company JBL? It's like they make like audio equipment, like speakers and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
like
I've
the
got some
JBL
earphones.
speakers, right? Yeah. So I have like a little speaker on that. And essentially, someone from JBL, or who I thought worked for JBL, reached out to me. Her name's Ashley Kingston, and she's from. Oh wait, she deleted all her stuff.
Oh.
Caleb, it's
Probably not
not
even she.
real. This is how people get hacked.
I know, but you don't understand. Oh, you know what? It might be because I reported the account, so it's all like gone. But like, it's weird because like it doesn't even show when they joined. But so they joined. Oh wait, I guess Oh, I could briefly see it for a second.
Just please tell me you didn't send the Nigerian prince any money.
Dude, I don't know. This person could have been Nigerian for all I know. All I know is not actually Ashley Kingston. Anyway, so I checked their Twitter account, right? Because they sent me a message. They're like, they start off. It's like, hey Caleb, I'm a manager at JBL Audio. Would you be interested in exploring potential collaboration? We're ready to offer great terms and powerful equipment for you. Let me know if you're interested. Best regards. And I, obviously they say like they're a marketing manager at JBL. I looked through their tweets, have like tweets going on for quite a while, and they've joined like X back in 2012, and they also had their LinkedIn attached to it, right? And I checked, they're like based in Australia, and she has like a very extensive LinkedIn with over 500 plus like connections. I was like, okay. I was like, this seems fairly legit. So I responded back. I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like I actually use JBL speaker on a regular basis, so I'm pretty familiar with the product. She's like, oh great. Like when you're planning on releasing your next video, we're launching a new mic that perfectly complements our headphones, and we'd like for you to include a promo clip in your video. What do you think about that? I was like, well, that sounds pretty good to me. Like my next video, because I'm like trying to hit legend and stuff. Like that could be a banger video for me to put it in, right? So it might get some more eyes on it. I said, oh, pretty, I was like, oh, and I just asked her, like, oh, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, what's the rate? And she said, if you're at a computer at the moment, we can sign an NDA and then we could talk about the details through like Discord or Zoom or like text. I said, sure. I said, okay, please use the following document code. And then it was like a website called Zoho eSign or whatever. It was like, there's a whole NDA written up. I put in the code, right? And then it said, review it carefully, sign if you agree to terms, let me know once you finish. And so I'm reading through it. NDA looked good. I was just like, all right, I guess I signed the NDA before they talk about this stuff, which should have been the red flag for me because I was like, why do you sign an NDA before you talk about the rate, right? Like, why am I going to sign this stuff if you're not going to tell me what the rate is, right? Yeah. They could have obviously just made something up too, right? But so I go to sign, and then on the website it says, oh, is this your first time using? Is this your first time using? Yes or no? I can click no, right? So I was like, okay, well, open up the Zoho app to sign. I was like, oh, well, I should never use this app before. And this is nothing crazy because I've like worked with other companies where you have to like sign NDA. Even when I like work with like Niantic, if you had to sign it, ironclad NDA and all that stuff on their own website. So I go to download the program file. It's like, oh, Windows, Mac, or whatever, right? So I download the Windows run. And I go to open it up. I was like, this program's not loading. And I just left my computer for a bit. I checked back like 30 minutes later. Logged out of Google Chrome, right? Like my profile. I was like, what the heck? And then it's like, that's weird. I try to enter in. Passwords changed less than an hour ago. It's like, what? It's like, how? Right? And it also had a different email, right? It was still my profile picture, but they changed the email too somehow. And then I tried to go on my YouTube. Nothing. I was like, oh, dude, I just got hacked. I was like, shoot, I just got hacked. And I was just like, but here's the thing. I had dual authentication on, two-factor authentication. I had the one where you had to like text your phone or like you had to log into YouTube and stuff. But whatever like malware I downloaded onto my computer must have overrode all that. Like my guess is they had some remote access to my computer, was able to like look through my stuff. I don't know how they get through two-factor authentication though, right? But two-factor authentication is not as secure as it sounds, right? And I think and so I tried to recover it. I was like, oh, I'll try to go to like use my backup email or my phone to recover it. They changed all my backup emails. They changed all their phone numbers. So it was like 3 different phone numbers that weren't mine, obviously. And so I just couldn't get in. I was like panicking. I was like, what the heck? And I find out Google doesn't really have a number you could call for this kind of stuff. And I'm like searching on Reddit, all this stuff. It was like late at night at this point, right? I'm like staying up to like 6 a.m. like looking up this stuff. And I found a promising Reddit thread that said, hey, tag team YouTube or something on X and just shoot them a message saying you got hacked. And sure enough, I sent a message, and within an hour they responded back like, oh, like, have you tried these methods? I was like, it's like, try these methods. If it doesn't work, let us know in the thread. I said, all right, it doesn't work. It's like, okay, well, let me look further into it. Can you post your YouTube channel that got hacked? So I did. I posted that, and then they sent me a DM and saying like, oh, looks like your account is compromised. Please fill out this form, and then we'll get back to you, right, within like 24 hours. So I filled out this long form, and you have to be as detailed as possible, right? Like what, where were like when's the last time you logged into a device that wasn't like, at your main place. I was like, well, when I was in like Brazil, when I was in Sacramento, right? So I was like, because I remember logging into those phones. What's your channel ID? All this stuff, right? What's your AdSense things? And meanwhile, while I'm doing all this stuff, I see that they go live on my channel and they're streaming some crypto talk thing. And I was like, what? And then it was like a count that was like 20 minutes, so it starts whoever, and there's like 5.9K viewers for it. I was like, I don't even get that many viewers for my live streams. What the heck is going on? Like, how are they boosting my like engagement here with some random crypto live stream? And of course, other people that actually follow my channel send me messages as well. They're like, hey, just heads up, is this you, or is you get hacked or something like that? I was like, yeah, I did. I was like, I'm trying to get it back. And the thing that really scared me is I'm looking at all these Reddit threads, and some of these people were like, YouTube never got my account recovered, or like it took 17 days, right? Or like I'm a person that has over 100,000 subscribers and I still didn't get it recovered because they couldn't verify it was me. I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. So I'm thinking like, well, if they have that many subscribers, it's way more than me, and they're still not getting the response from YouTube and Google. That's not promising, right? And I was like really panicked about this. But here's the thing. So much of my stuff is tied to freaking Google, right? Not even just Google Maps, but like Pokemon Go. Couldn't log into it, right? Because it's my Google accounts. League of Legends, I can't play it, right? Because it's tied to my Google account. But all my like bank account info, all that stuff is all tied. Like it's not my login info for my bank account, but it's my default like, email for that stuff. And so I'm like scared to change that because I tried to change the email, they might decline it because usually it's like, oh, please verify it's you at like, blah, 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 Bank America, is this actually you? And they say, no, that's not me. Then I can't even change the email. So best I could do is just change my passwords, because the thing I was scared of is they have access to my Google Chrome and has all my passwords saved. And I was like, oh, shoot, all this stuff. I checked all my bank account stuff, checked Amazon and everything too. It was like hours later. They didn't touch it. It was weird. PayPal, nothing. They didn't touch it. It just did this weird crypto stream. And of course, I messaged the person back on X DMs. I was like, so you hacked my account. I was like, what do you want in return of my account? I wasn't really going to like go for any type of ransom they're going to probably hold over my account. But I was just curious what they're going to say. And they respond back, 3 days and you will get it. I was like, well, one, I don't want to wait 3 days, right? And two, who knows what getting damage going to cause in 3 days. But while this crypto stream's going on, YouTube, I guess, flagged it, or maybe other people that follow me like reported it as well, and they suspended my YouTube account. So, and then they finally got back to me a couple of hours later, right after I submitted the form. I was just like in and out of sleep because I was like staying up all night doing this stuff, and I like wake up and I check my email stuff, and they finally got back to me last night, and they're like, oh, we took a look at your account and everything. It is compromised. Please do all these recovery options. I was like, well, I can't because they have all the backup stuff like changed. And it's like, okay, well, let's do this reset. Able to reset everything and able to get it all back. My YouTube account was still suspended, but I was like, okay, I got my Google stuff back. I could play Pokemon Go and stuff. And it was like, at this point in time, it was like 9:30 p.m. And because I couldn't play Pokemon Go all day, and I was at like 2,900 something in GBL, I was like, I got time to still finish my sets today. So I'm sitting there battling my sets as well, and like chatting with one of my friends because I was just, like keeping her posted on the situation. I was like, man, this ain't so bad, I even like shot a message to someone at Niantic asking like, hey, like, is it possible to transfer my account info? Because I'm just like, look, if I can't post YouTube videos, that's fine, but like I can't even do my Patreon stuff or coach people because I can't even log into my account to like battle them or prep new teams for GBL. I was like, can I just like get Niantic to transfer my account from like one Gmail to another, right? Because I didn't know if they're going to like fiddle around with my Pokemon Go account, but clearly not. They didn't do that either. But anyway, and then yeah, so there was all that, which was big fun times, of course. And surely enough, like an hour or two later, I got my YouTube account back too. So the only thing that changed was my profile picture. It's just like a blank, like no picture. But I think that's because they changed my email and everything too. So I just reset that back, and all the panic threads I saw on Reddit, it wasn't so bad. They got my account back in under 24 hours, which was nice. But it made me realize how much of at least my life is tied to my dang Google account, because you have like the easy login with your Google account kind of thing. And that actually makes me think twice about even using it, because I'm like getting scared now. I'm like, well, what if they like, put some mailworm or something like virus into my computer from clicking those too. But essentially, I had dual authentication on, and literally the moment I downloaded the stuff, didn't even matter. They just overrode everything in like a minute. It was crazy.
Yeah, but it's hard to avoid having everything so connected to, like, even if you create multiple email accounts or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just today's day and age, it's really hard to like not have everything connected to, an account of some kind. Which unfortunately means that stuff like this is just becoming like more common.
Yeah.
Well, there's stuff like DracoViz where you can't make a DracoViz account, right? Like it's like you have to log in through a service like Google.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can't even just make it from scratch too. I think
I'm curious, did Niantic like get back to you about actually transferring your account to
I didn't like
email if you wanted to?
So I didn't email like Niantic directly. Okay. I just like sent a DM to someone I know that works at Niantic, just to see if they had any leads, right? Because if I went through support, I figured it might take some more time. But maybe they would still send me to support. Who knows? But I just wanted to see if it was even possible, right? Like it was like, hey, can you do this for me? It was more like, is this even possible, right? Like I'm okay if I don't play for like a few days, but like I kind of just what I do for work. But they haven't before they even got back to me, I just responded, was like, hey, false alarm, it's all good. And I think they actually haven't even checked their DMs yet, so because they haven't even responded ever. But that's fine. Again, that's not like something I was like expecting them to do, but I just want to see if it was even possible.
Well, that's what I'd be curious, just like for my own edification.
Yeah.
If something like this were to happen to someone.
Yeah. So I think another way to maybe work around that in the future is connect other accounts to my Google account, like my Facebook or whatever. So have a different way to log in.
Your Pogo account, not Google.
My Pokemon Go account. Yeah. Because when I got hacked initially, I was still able to play the game for a little bit. So I thought like, okay, as long as I don't log out, it's fine. But in the morning when I checked, I was like completely logged out. But like playing Pokemon Go was kind of the least thing on my mind.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, part of me was like thinking, oh, I would be so productive now that I can't play Pokemon Go or League of Legends or something during this time period. And then I'm thinking, wait, this is like what I do for work. Like I can't do anything.
Wait
actually.
a minute.
So I just like laid around in bed stressed and just went in and out of naps until I finally what do you call it? Got my account back. But it was a stressful 24 hours, but YouTube came in handy. I will say.
This whole thing's so weird.
I looked it up
though.
too on like Reddit, and it's just like it's like known as like a sponsorship hack or whatever, and I think it's pretty common. Yeah, what were we gonna say, Tristan?
Oh, I just think it's weird that they were hacking your account just to do a crypto live stream. Like I don't really know what they were trying
you're
to
some sort of
accomplish
part of some sort of money laundering
like
operation.
I understand the premise.
Yeah.
Like I understand the premise of it, like a sponsorship hack, right? But usually if you're hacking someone, you're going after like their bank accounts or something. But like they just wanted to do a crypto live stream, like that's the weird part to me. And then they said they were going to give you your account back.
They didn't even hold it for ransom. They couldn't be like, give us like $1,000 for it.
The only thing that makes sense to me is this was a plot.
A plot?
Yeah.
From what?
I think I know where this is going.
No. The only thing that makes sense to 3 days is Steve and Kaz just wanted a 3-day buffer for the legend bet.
That's true.
And so they hired some shady person to give them a couple extra days.
No, I was at like 29:36, like right before this too. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hit legend tomorrow, right? Like this is like the day before. And
yeah,
then,
if you talk to someone on the phone and they sounded weird, it was just me with my sick voice.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you're Ashley Kingston. No, honestly,
notice how they haven't denied the allegations.
Dude, that would have been so tragic if I lose this like legend bet and I had to wear freaking onesie because I couldn't even play the game. Yeah, it was.
Yes, Tragic.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
ain't no
it is
hackers
pretty-
going to stop me from Legend.
That's one way to learn your lesson.
Yeah, but I ended up I ended up hitting Legend actually on the dot too, right before midnight last night. So I was it was a whirlwind of events yesterday, but we managed to fix it all up too. I didn't tell my parents because I didn't want them to worry. But then for some reason, my dad's like looking me up on YouTube all of a sudden yesterday. He's like, I looked you up on YouTube and I couldn't find anything. It was just like there was another Caleb Payne, but it's not you, right? And it was like some other Caleb Payne account. It wasn't even my account, right? But because they suspended
What?
all my channel, all my videos are gone too. It was just like it was just videos that other people using my team that had my name in it, or like play Pokemon stuff. Or this other Caleb Payne guy that I've been aware of for a while because he added me once on like Twitter back in the day, but it's the same guy because I remember it's that same profile picture. But anyway, so my dad found out too. He's freaking out. I was like, well, it is what it is. I can't really control it. We'll see how it goes. But so I think my recommendation for everyone is it might be worth starting a YouTube channel connected to your main accounts. Like, I don't know, like, how much of it is like, oh, because I'm like a partner, I'm part of the partner program, and I get paid for like, views and stuff at a certain point, like that they might have taken more seriously. I don't know, right? But part of me thinks it's worth it to at least just make one, maybe put some random videos up there. I don't know, get some views, because the thing is, Google doesn't have a password recovery, like account recovery thing built into their website. Like if one of you just got your Google account hacked, like, well, I mean, Steve has a YouTube channel, but like let's say it's your personal Gmail or something else, I don't know how you recover it, because I had to add the team YouTube account to do it and say my YouTube account was hacked before they took action. But I don't know if there's any other way for like any legitimate way. And again, it's like super frustrating because even if you're not like a content creator, like you have so much stuff tied to your freaking Gmail, right? Or your Google account. And just to not even get that backward to like, because I don't even know like how I'd even go about changing my email access on some of the stuff, like my bank accounts and stuff, if like they need to verify my Gmail, like, oh, you're trying to change your password or change your email, and be like, well, I can't get in.
Right.
So. I remember I think this was like a couple years ago, the Pixel 4 that I had, like I dropped it and like broke the screen entirely, and I could not access my account for like a day because it kept trying to like send information to my phone number because I have a Pixel.
Yeah.
So my phone number is also tied like to my Google account. So it kept trying to send things specifically to my phone for me to verify, like when I was trying to do it on my computer. And I was like, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Like, what part about that do you not understand?
It's super frustrating. I was like, part of my trying to recover my freaking account was they would send a verification to my account. And I was like, well, I can't get into my freaking account. So how am I supposed to verify it? The hackers have this stuff. They're probably laughing at all these like verification requests too on my account. Anyway, so yeah, that's my recommendation. Yeah. So that's my recommendation is make like just make a YouTube account, maybe post a video or something. It could be something random. It doesn't have to be a video of you, because it could be just whatever. But just so that you have a way to recover it, because I'm almost positive there's just like there's no other clear way. There's no phone number. Like I checked, right? There's no nothing. And the only way that I've seen online that you can recover any type of Google account, not just a YouTube account, is with the team YouTube. And again, if you don't have a YouTube account tied to it, then like, it's kind of a pain. But I hope it doesn't happen to anyone else, right? I think my guess is because there's such a big platform, the amount of people that need help with this kind of stuff is so overwhelming. They don't have the staff to actually handle it. So obviously, like, this kind of stuff is like you can't just have a bot handle it, right? Like you actually have real person like looking into it, because how could a bot verify for sure? Like someone trying to get their password recovered isn't like actually them. So that's why like even I was pretty impressed with their response time, because I'm thinking like, oh, I hear these stories of people taking like 17 days to get their account back. I was like, shoot. Like, honestly, like that wouldn't shock me, because they're probably inundated with all these like hacked account stuff. I mean, this person was moved quick, right, to hack my account. I guarantee this person's mass sending this DM to all these other YouTubers that they know, and run this crypto stuff. Again, I still have no idea what they got out of it. They literally ran a crypto stream. Maybe they're trying to scam some people on this crypto stream. It gets shut down before the crypto stream even goes like live or does anything.
I told
really.
you're just part of a larger like money laundering operation.
But I don't get it. They didn't even try they didn't try to hold my account for ransom. They didn't try to take anything from my bank account or my PayPal or nothing. Right? I was like kind of slow to even change those
It's just
passwords.
the pass through. You're just the car wash.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And what they washed my account of was my old passwords because I set a bunch of new passwords after that and try to increase my security. So, and I know next time. But yeah, I don't know. I think the most shocking factor for me was the fact that they got through my two-factor authentication so quickly without actually me needing to authenticate anything. So, just something to watch out for if you click on any links or download anything. Honestly, in the future, again, because like I've been in similar situations in the past where like I didn't have any issues with it. But I think in the future, if anyone even offers sponsorships or like partnerships and stuff, I need to really know who I'm talking to. But that's the crazy thing, right? Like how I got into commentary for Pokemon was through a random DM like that. It was from a random DM. The guy literally said, "Hey," that's all he said. And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Right? And it turned out to be some senior producer at the Pokemon company. And he asked me to drop my email. I drop it down, and a few weeks later, I get official email from the Pokemon company. But like, so like that's why like I always think in these moments like, oh, you shouldn't like close off your DMs on X or wherever, and opportunities like this may come up, right? You never know, and sometimes there's scams, but it's just like really hard to decipher, unfortunately.
Yeah.
These days.
Well, like I said, I think it just keeps getting harder and harder. So like the level of awareness you have to have through the entire process, is really high. It's not like you did go online and try to confirm their identity. Like you did due diligence.
I believe Ashton Kingston is a real woman that works for JBL that lives out in Australia. She might be freaking Steve's neighbor for all I know. But
I mean, her account has also probably been compromised, somehow.
Well, yeah, she might just not even have an X account. Like that's just someone that's posting as her. Or like they bought an old account that's like from 2012. I don't know. I didn't go all the way back in the tweets, but maybe I should have. She has a couple hundred people she's following, and the thing is, she has some actually big content creators following her too. That's the thing that threw me off. Not like anyone like I know, but I looked at her follower list, like some of the people that have like the blue check mark verified people. Dude, some of these people have like over 100K, 200K followers on on their socials or YouTube accounts. So again, I'm just like, huh? Like, why would you be hot? Like, I didn't even follow her back when she followed me, but like, why the heck would you follow her, right? Like it was just that, like, all those things that just like really bamboozled me and made me think that it was real. But again, like, I mean, I think asking me to sign an NDA before discussing further is nothing crazy. Like, I've had to do that with other like companies. So,
yeah, I don't think that's crazy, but I do think that's kind of odd because
before the rate thing for sure.
Yeah, why would you have to sign an NDA before you
discuss
officially agreed to discuss like company information, not just numbers.
Yeah, the numbers honestly she could have just made something up, honestly, but she didn't. I'm saying she, but this could just be some Nigerian dude, and I don't even know. I don't know where our last bit of recording cut off, but just take a guess what happened with some technical difficulties. Anyway, that being said, I think I was just talking about the hacking thing. Anyway, just be careful, right? Like, it just like part of me is thinking, man, ain't no way I'm getting hacked, right? I'm in my 30s. I've been hacked in video games before, right? Just like dropping some of my like all of a sudden all my armor and stuff is just like gone, right? from like my RPG accounts. But yeah, it was not a good feeling. Especially getting hacked as an adult is even worse because you have like way more like responsibilities tied to your account.
The stakes are so much higher.
They are so much higher. I'm just like, dude, like I don't even know how to like get my package from the mailroom because all that stuff. But anyway, Tristan, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, for all our listeners, we're no longer a Pokemon Go podcast. We're an internet security podcast now. So I hope you guys are okay with the transition.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm,
That's right.
mm-hmm.
I mean, part of it is like, look, we could talk about this in the end, but I think is important to talk about in the beginning. So Ashley Kingston's in your DMs, you ignore her. You ignore her.
Oh, she's
But,
lovely. I give her milk all
yeah.
the time.
I mean, I think I should have thought of this because I feel like the old school hacks were like so obvious to me. At least I'm like, who's falling for this stuff, right? But
Yeah.
the hackers evolve too, man. Those Nigerians know a thing or two these
I
days.
still get like super obvious ones like in my inbox every once in a while that make it through the spam filter somehow.
Yeah.
Like lately
yeah,
I've been
and-
getting these ones that send me like there's no there's no subject, there's no content, like text content in the email. It's just like a PDF to open, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fool. Ain't nobody falling for this.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. And then, it happened. It happened. I will say too, this is nothing like I'm not like big hating on Nigeria or anything too. It's just that it is unfortunately the country with the most amount of hackers originating from. I think I watched like a clip on this too. It was Nigeria was number 1, India was number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the other ones were.
I assumed
Turkey
India
was one of
just
them?
must be so big based on scale, like in the sense that they've got 1.4 billion people, and like I just sort of assumed.
Yeah.
The problem is they just have so many more people.
They literally have like fake call centers, like
Yeah.
giant buildings of it and stuff doing this stuff. So even more impressive that Nigeria is taking that top spot.
That's crazy.
Anyway, I don't know though, like of their country of origin who was actually hacking me, but could be just someone on U.S. soil. You never know. Anyway, let's
back to our Pokemon content.
Back to our Pokemon content too. We're actually going to reorder things a little bit because Tristan has to dip out a little bit earlier today. So we're gonna talk about what's the tea to kick things off. Actually, besides the tea of me getting hacked, what's the real tea for Pokemon Go? Did someone want to take this one? Because I wasn't the one that posted it. So
Yeah, I
wasn't
can
sure
take
if
it.
someone had a strong
Yeah,
Pokemon.
I think it was Tristan that actually shared this
All right.
one. Yeah.
Take it away.
So there was a discussion on X about the GBL encounters and how a lot of people feel like they need an update. The original tweet was someone said, "Hey Niantic, help! Can we end the tomfoolery and make Galarian Corsola and Rookidee GBL rewards? I think we can safely retire Teddy Ursa and Dino from the rotation, my dudes." And then there was a quote tweet from Lauren Lawley that said, "Get rid of all this garbage and replace them with something worth actually playing for." And she circled like Bunnelby, Clefairy, Machop, Fletchinder, Teddy Ursa, and Totodile. And there was some discourse on this.
Honestly, some of those are okay in my opinion.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say Z's Wireless replied to her
mad
and said
against
50% of these.
post.
What was that, Steve?
I'm very against Lauren Lolly's posts in terms of the stuff that she circled as.
Yeah,
that's a fellow
so
Aussie
Z's
of yours,
Wireless
too.
replied to
There's
her.
some pretty useful stuff that she circled.
Yeah, Z's Wireless replied and said 50% of these are actually more useful for PvP newcomers than most of the stuff not circled, which I think is valid. I think like Totodile is definitely a good one. Even the Fletchinder for Talonflame, like Talonflame's pretty good. Machop's not bad. Diggersby as well. So I don't mind some of those. I do think the Teddy Ursa should go. I don't know why on earth we still have Galarian Stunfisk in GBL rewards. That thing's been triple nerfed and hasn't been relevant in like over a year. So like, why is that in GBL rewards? Even something like Phantump, I don't know why that's there.
It's good in Little Cup.
Like the Dino.
Yeah. And some of these have been in GBL rewards for a really long time, like the Sneasel, like why, like that's been a GBL reward that's been available in the wild now, like I get that it's like a special regional form, but like there's just no point to it being there. And people doing GBL most reliably are the ones who like yes, we want the Corsola. Yes, we want like the Rookity. So why don't you try and prioritize the rewards as something that, yeah, we can functionally use? That's why I would also agree that like Totodile in the rewards, fine. Like for alligators, ever present, for the past few seasons. The Fletchender also good. Machop is pretty good, and the Bunnelby certainly has relevance right now. Like, so yeah, it's like if you're gonna put a bunch of Pokemon accessible only through like primarily through battling, like make it Pokemon that are relevant to battling.
Drop some dang Galarian Corsola in the encounters. That would get people GBLing for sure. Tristan, Tristan, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, just overall they need a refresh. Like we have stuff like Scraggy, which like Scrafty isn't really that relevant since Counter got nerfed, and it was borderline relevant even before then. And some of the ones Kaz pointed out as well. Um, so like I just feel like they need to take a lot of these things out that just aren't very useful, and then put some of these other things in. Like related to this is I don't believe that Rookity is currently available in the game in any form at all. My understanding is it came out of GBL rewards. It's not in the eggs, and it's not in the magnetic lures. So like it's literally not possible to get this Pokemon anymore. So like why at least leave it in GBL rewards? And then also why'd they take more Morpeko out of GBL rewards? Like these are PvP relevant Pokemon that are either hard or impossible to get otherwise. Like those should absolutely be in GBL rewards. And I would love to see the Galarian Corsola too. I understand I don't like it, but I understand if they want to keep it to eggs for whatever reason. But at least give us the Rookity and give us the Morpeko. And then in all honesty, I would love to see them update the GBL rewards like every season or two as different Pokemon get, buffed or nerfed into the meta. I mean, we don't know what March is going to have, but some of the new Pokemon that might get buffed in March, put those in. So, like, I just think that the GBL.
Yeah, and I think, like.
Go on, Caleb. I was going to say I think it needs a refresh.
The GBL what?
It's just not really.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just not really doing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you on the Galarian Corsola front. Like, at least you could hatch them, right? At least you could acquire them. Whereas the Rookity, I thought Rookity would be in the GBL encounters for like ever since the event, but I didn't even realize they took it out right after the event, or even with Pecco. Like, okay, I you can make arguments that Machop, Fletchender, Bunnelby, these things, Totodile, they have a lot of utility, and honestly, I see a lot of their evolutions in PP all day long, so I think that's fine. Even Scraggy, right? I've seen like a Scrafty here, there, in Love Cup. Like, it's not crazy. But it's just, why are we taking away the things that are newer and even less accessible, right? Like, yeah, you can make the argument that some people complain, like Lawrence complain, like, oh, well, we see Bunnelby everywhere. I was like, well, some people don't play the game as much as you do, or maybe they just mostly PvP and they're just trying to get stuff for it, and it is a heavy XL investment if you want to make a good rank one. But why the heck do we not have more Pecco and Rookity on top of that, right? Like, those are not any more accessible. And also Rookity actually Corviknight in Ultra League, you need a ton of XLs to make that thing. It's ranked number 1. It's ranked number 1 in Ultra League. Like, why would that not be readily available, right?
And especially for these newer Pokemon, like some of the ones that people want to see the most, the Corsola, the Rookity, and the Morpeko, they're relatively new to the game. So why would you want to limit access to those in favor of something that, yes, we have, like Totodile, like we have had for a really long time? Do I mind it there as much as some of the other ones? Like, no, but like it has genuinely been in the game a longer amount of time. So like, why do you want to try and like keep these things from us?
Yeah, I always say to people too, like, the hardest thing about Pokemon Go PvP is accessibility. Like, it's like, yes, the game is not like super easy to pick up at times on the higher level, right? Like, you can figure it out, but if you want to like win a regional, or like do like, get like a medal or something at one of these tournaments, it's not easy to pull off, but you can get there if you have the resources, if you put in the time. But the problem is, like, people don't even have the actual like hardware to get to that spot because they just, it's very dust intensive, and then there's just all these little things that cut you off. I got my first Galarian Corsola this week, like a few days ago. I've been hatching.
Woo! Let's
Yeah,
go.
crazy enough, my first Galarian Corsola was shiny. Did we know that could have been shiny? Because I legit didn't even realize or forgot.
Yeah.
Because I don't see
We
anyone
knew.
using a shiny Galarian Corsola in PvP either. So I
Well,
was even
because
more confused.
look at how rare it is to get, Caleb.
First one, and I got it. You know, shout out Paul Lasher for it. The IV spread is actually not even too bad too. It's like a 10, like
Oh my god.
13, 15.
Yeah,
or
I was
something,
talking to. We just came off of having those Max Mondays for the Dynamax Legendary Kanto birds,
so. Mhm.
which I actually went to because it's like bird content.
That's true.
And
And now you know it's easier to take out the Moltres and the Articuno
Yeah.
with double weakness to
Fortunately,
rock.
like the Zapdos and the Moltres were on like the tail, like the bookends of my illness. So I got to do Zapdos, and I literally got sick, and then I felt better, and I was able to do Moltres. But anyway, so the people at those like events were primarily PvE people, right? Like
Yes.
I went to those, and I didn't see like anyone I know from the competitive community here in
Yeah.
Atlanta. And I was telling them about like the regional coming up, the regional event in April,
Mhm.
so that, you know, even PvE players can benefit from like having that event nearby because of the spawns,
Yeah.
you know, and the bonuses. And some of them were genuinely asking me like, oh, you know, I mean, I go into GBL like sometimes if I need to, but like, you know, how do I, like, I don't even know how I would get better at the game. And I'm like, I'm about to disappoint you.
Well,
even
to
though
kick
I
things
want,
off, you got to listen to the Bowcast podcast.
yeah, that was my first thing. And then I was like, you know, unfortunately, in terms of accessibility, it is really difficult for Go.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really difficult for me to even begin to explain to you right now, like what you need to do. The most I can tell you is that going to events like these, like, is a beneficial learning experience, you know, but unfortunately there's not really a lot of avenues I can point you to like learn. And the game doesn't make it any easier, like itself, because the things that are relevant that you might see in GBL, as we've been discussing, are some of the like least accessible Pokemon currently that exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tristan?
Yeah, I think on Kaz's point, like how you would even start is first of all you'd have to grind a bunch of XLs for a Azumarill. Then you need to travel back in time to make sure you TM off frustration from a Shadow Feraligatr, a Shadow Drapion, and probably a Shadow Kanto Marowak. And then you have to pray that you get enough XLs for a Galarian Corsola. Like, the game is very inaccessible. And it's so challenging for new players to get started.
So the least they can do.
Yeah, because of all of these XL Pokemon and Shadow Pokemon and the fact that we can't TM Shadows on a regular basis, it makes it even harder for people to get in. And then you have a Pokemon like Corviknight that should be, at least for Great League, not that hard to get because it's not an XL Pokemon, it's not a Shadow Pokemon, right? Like, in theory, it should be an easy thing to build, right? Sort of like, I mean, yeah, like Skarmory was 75 candies and 75,000 unlock for the second move, but like, you know, something like a Skarmory or a Whiscash, right? Those were kind of easy to make. Like, Corviknight should, in theory, be in that same boat, but they've made it so artificially rare that it's an accessibility issue in itself. And yeah, I would love to see them use the GBL rewards to help address
and
some of
Corviknight
these
is only 10k to unlock
accessibility
a move.
issues.
Like,
right, but it's so hard to get. Like, I had to use rare candy to evolve a second Corviknight during the event because I didn't have enough candies to evolve a second one that ended up being a little bit better.
I didn't evolve a single
crazy.
one. So
that's
me too.
crazy.
I only just evolved one after adding rare candy. Like, ugh.
Well, that's crazy because that's
Give
like
us the
the
rewards
route
we want.
That's the Route 1
Yeah.
bird, right?
Thanks.
And the other thing too that I think could be
is like
interesting.
That's why it's a 10k move unlock.
The other thing too that I think might be interesting
What else is
is
interesting?
if they kind of revamp the premium reward track for GBL to make it more appealing. Like I could see, like, I think it'd be interesting if like maybe the first two slots were encounters and the encounter pool was more limited to be more focused on like a Rookidee and a Galarian Corsola and a Morpeko, like a smaller pool, so
What
that
what
it's
if it
more
was what if it was all 5 were encounters?
that could be interesting. I
Would
know
that be
some
crazy?
people like it for the dust rewards and for like the items like the charge TMs and the rare XLs and stuff, but personally, if the reward pool,
Mm.
like the encounters were actually good, then all encounters could be appealing. If it was like a very narrow pool of actually relevant Pokemon, then that could be interesting too. But like right now, I just don't feel like the premium track is generally worth it over the regular track. And I think that's another way that they could give us more access to some of these rare Pokemon. You know, make it more worth it for us to do the premium track, and then you can feel more okay giving more exclusive Pokemon there because it is a premium track. I think there's some ways they could do stuff like that too, but in
Are
general,
people
I
going to
would
use
just
that?
like most people don't regularly. I know people use the premium track
Yeah.
more on like Go Battle weeks and stuff, Go Battle weekend. Um, but like right now, for the most part, people don't because it just doesn't really feel
I,
worth
for
it.
one,
And like the
yeah,
thing
I, for
too,
one, have never used the premium track ever.
Same.
I've used it a couple times just during like Go Battle weeks or weekends, but it's been a while since I've used it. And like the
Mm-hmm.
thing too they could use to make it feel more worth it is like if you got some guaranteed rewards from the premium track, even if you got like no wins. Because that's the thing too, is like it doesn't always feel worth it because your rewards are based on how well you do, and like you can't guarantee how well you're gonna do in your battles. Um, and like you could even just like lag out or have your app crash for all 5 battles, and you just use the premium pass for nothing. So like I don't know, maybe if the premium pass gave like a guaranteed like let's say like 3 charge TMs or something, and maybe a little bit of dust, and then maybe all the actual reward paths were like encounters of like more exclusive Pokemon or something. Like I think there's a way they could revamp it to make it actually appealing and worthwhile for people to consider using their passes. Because like I say the charge teams because I know a lot of PvPers
I
are
think Niantic's
short on
approach is
charge
though they
teams.
don't.
They don't what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What were you saying,
Well,
Caleb?
I think the thing with Niantic is they don't ever want to give you something guaranteed for your remote raid pass or your raid pass or any pass in general, right? Because if you do a raid, they're like, well, you had to beat the raid to get the rewards. You're not guaranteed the rare candies or the TMs or the Stardust or XP or even the encounter if you don't beat the raid. Um, so I think they probably have a similar philosophy for when you use a premium track too, which I could see, which is why I don't know if they'll ever do like, oh, you're guaranteed to get TM stuff. But I do think what would be good is okay. I said like, oh, what if all 5 were encounters, or but then some people are like, oh, what about the dust, right? Or what about the TMs and stuff, or the items that people want? And what I thought about was, what if you could choose? You could say, hey, look, I want 5 encounters or I want 5 things of Stardust, or I want 5 potential items, and you could choose the path every time. Or you could be like, surprise me, mixed bag, right? Do it all, or like a mixture of everything. I don't know, right? I don't know if that's incredibly hard to code, but I do think that that would make things a little bit more interesting. Or if we really want to get specific, what if you can set what you want each slot to be? I'd be like, yo, first 2 slots, I want
Crazy.
Pokemon counters, right? Because I'm probably not going to go 3-2 or better. Or you may be like, man, I really need those CMs. I'm going to put those, like, the potential items in that first slot. Is that too crazy to ask for? I don't think, like,
Yes.
having people have, like, a little
Yes.
choose your own adventure thing is that crazy because, like,
That would
you're
have
spending a
to.
premium pass for it, right? Like, it's not even an orange pass. You're spending a premium pass for it. You're not guaranteed a rookie. You can still just get a freaking Clefairy in that first encounter instead, but you at least know that you have a chance, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would have to come with some sort of like we've talked before about how, battle passes could work in the game, and we've seen them implement something similar for, the upcoming Unova tour. But I just think that it would have to come with some sort of ticket experience for them to even consider like giving players more control over their path.
Yeah, maybe. Tristan?
I was gonna say two things. First of all, when you do fail a raid, you do get some guaranteed Stardust still. It's not a lot, but it's something. Um, and I do like your customize your reward idea. I just don't know how that would work from a coding standpoint. That might be more complicated for them. But the other thing I think could work is maybe the premium pass comes with like 2 rewards per slot. So it's like maybe it's an encounter with dust in the first slot and an encounter with an item in the second slot and like dust with an item in the third slot or something like that. Like they could do something like that, right? Where it's like basically double rewards because you are using a paid pass. I think something like that could be interesting as well. Like, but regardless, yeah, I think there's ways they could really revamp the premium rewards to make them actually appealing and helpful for PvP players. And again, I would really love to see them rework the GBL encounters as a whole because there's a lot of Pokemon that are kind of useless or like super niche in the rewards, and there's a lot of Pokemon that are very useful and highly coveted that you either can't get or are super rare. That would be nice to see them added. And yeah, I got to get going in a sec.
The premium pass is just the premium track is just not premium enough, because I've 394 premium raid passes, premium battle passes. And I have never used it, just like as I've literally never used a premium track because I'm literally thinking, well, one, if I don't win enough, I'm not really gonna make the most of it. So I can't guarantee myself 5-0, but the rewards are just not enticing enough, So I just like I obviously I can't speak for everyone, right? Some people are more willing to spend their passes. It's not like I don't have passes to spend. It's not like I have to spend extra like $5 out of my pocket to do this, right? Like I literally have the passes sitting in my inventory, and I'm not rating a bunch either. But it's just the premium track just is not appealing enough for me and Kaz and probably a lot of other people to even engage with.
I think we're talking about like a sliding scale. I think the least they can do is make the Pokemon encounters from GBL a little more relevant for those that are taking advantage of that aspect. I think the most they can do is find a way to make the whole GBL system, the premium track, like more useful for those that want to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
The most they can do is Caleb's idea, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
Anyway, I know that Tristan has to go in a sec. And it's my grand return for Kaz's Corner, so maybe we should take care of that before he has to head out.
Do we have time?
Yeah, do you have time,
Yeah.
Tristan?
I don't think
or
I
do
have
to go now?
time. We should probably stop now to make sure I have enough time to upload.
All right, it's okay. We back with 0 delays now.
Oh, I can like try and turn my internet down if we want.
No, Australian internet is already horrible.
Apparently not too bad, but okay, let's head over to the events section because we're just gonna skip Kaz's Corner and Professor Tristan for this week. We have ourselves the well, honestly, we could just skip this. Honestly, it's just like an egg thing for February.
Yeah,
but,
it's just another because we had a ticket like this in January. This is basically like they did the coin pass for a while, and now they're doing this like expedition pass every month. So
okay, so we have ourselves the Beloved Buddies events. So it starts on February 11th, ends on February 15th. Says strengthen bonds and embrace harmony with the Beloved Buddies events. It's an interesting set of features. 2 times XP for catching Pokemon. Lure modules will last for 1 hour. And then they'll track different Pokemon during the event, such as Diglett, Slowpoke, Shelder, Dunsparce, Cutiefly, and Fomantis. Nothing that interesting besides the Shelder gets a little bit extra Stardust, I guess. 500 additional Stardust for catching the following Pokemon: Diglett, Slowpoke, Shelder, Dunsparce, Cutiefly, Fomantis. They really were like, hey, hold up now, Caleb. There's something more to this. Right. That's actually a lot of Stardust now that I think about it. So that's actually pretty good.
That
That's
Shelder,
actually real
especially, giving you what would that be? Like 1,500 dust each Shelder?
Is it
Probably,
usually
yeah.
1,000 or is it 750?
I'm
I
not
think
even
it's
sure.
1,000 for
Whoa.
Shelder.
That's crazy.
But pretty good, right? Not too bad, not too shabby. So that's actually a lot of Stardust, honestly. If you have the lure modules to spare, or you want to just like mooch off a couple of people, that's fine too. Pokemon debut: Delmise, the Sea Creeper Pokemon, will make his debut. Is that the one in the picture?
Yeah, it's the
anchor
one
thing.
in the image. It looks like
It's like an anchor
ship.
and a
Yeah, like an
anchor
and
and
a
a
ship
wheel.
wheel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How does you're the expert on Pokemon Origins, I feel like, Kaz.
Okay.
How does that happen for a Pokemon? Like, how does it like a real life anchor and a boat steering wheel? How does that end up becoming a Pokemon all of a sudden? Did like a Pokemon look around and be like, that'd be a good thing to kind of evolve into, or like turn into, or start out as? Like, how does that even occur? Because I don't even
You're spoiling Kaz's corner.
Yeah, you're spoiling a future Kaz's Corner opportunity right here. But I will tell you, like, I went to Cerebi, and like in the Sword and Shield Pokedex, a piece of seaweed merged with debris from a sunken ship. So yeah. So apparently it's like 2 inanimate objects possessed by one plant. Equals.
Oh, yeah. I think someone did tell me that the seaweed is actually the alive bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's almost like
I'm making a note right now to never have a Kaz's Corner about. Although, that being said, you guys won't remember, so.
Come on.
is it almost like a horseshoe crab kind of thing, or whatever, where they like grab their shells? Like they didn't create the shells themselves, but they grab, or like, is it a horseshoe crab or something else where they find the shell they go into?
I mean, this is like a
They don't grow
pattern
themselves.
with a lot of ghost Pokemon, is you have.
Oh, it's a
kind of
ghost
like,
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah, grass ghost.
Oh.
So yeah, I think it's
Mhm.
possessed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, one object or creature possessing another is kind of like that's just how ghost Pokemon be,
Yeah.
May recall an earlier Runarigus Kaz's corner.
It's true.
Okay, well, good to know. Grass ghost. That makes a lot more sense with the seaweed now too.
I'm curious. What did you think it was?
Well, I'm looking at it. I didn't even realize it's seaweed. I just thought that was like algae or something. I would have thought, if I saw that, I would have thought it was steel water, probably. Which is an interesting typing, because like the anchor's a steel.
Not a bad guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say steel wood, but wood's not a typing, right? And I guess I would have gone grass, but I don't think I would have gone the grass route by just looking at the wood part. So, yeah, I don't know. That would have been kind of my guess. But again, I didn't even realize it's seaweed. I just thought it was just like algae growing on like an old anchor and stuff. But okay, so we got Delmise. Grass Ghost is nothing too crazy because we got Trevenant and Decidueye already.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be better than those two?
I don't think so. I think it's likely to be strictly worse than Trevenant. Chances are. I mean, they could give it some crazy moves, and then maybe it's cracked or something. But
but it will be making its debut only in raids, unfortunately. So a little raid locked. It is 3-star. Outside that is like Mega Trantar and Mega Raids and Enamorus, which honestly I'd rather just spend my raid pass on Enamorus if you're going to spend anything, because they like have some utility in Master League. But that's just me.
So one raid pass for the Pokedex entry and
done.
You're asking a lot from me because I didn't even have the Pokedex entry for the freaking costume Dedenne. So you could think I'm gonna have this this steel water Pokemon, the seaweed. No, I know it's ghost grass. Okay, anyway, this event will be going on from February 11th to February 15th. And 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So get all your Stardust because that'll be important for startup purposes. But yeah, that pretty much does it for that event. Nothing too crazy. It does start in a few days from now, or maybe live now, depending on when you listen to these podcasts. That being said, let's take a look at the next event. It's called Scattered to the Winds. Anyone want to take this one?
I got it. So this is from Tuesday, February 18th at 10 a.m. to Thursday, February 20th at 8 p.m. So very short. Event bonuses 2 times XP for spinning a Pokestop, 5 times XP for spinning a Pokestop for the first time. Mm-hmm. Open up to 40 gifts per day. Open up to 60 gifts per day if you have purchased the Expedition Access for February. Kind of mentioned. Increased chance to encounter shiny Pidgey. Listen, I already got the whole shiny family, but if you think that I'm not going to be out there collecting more Pidgey, you are sadly mistaken. Vivillon flutters in. Scatterbug, Spupa, and Vivillon make their shiny debuts in Pokemon Go. Pin postcards from trainers around the world to earn encounters with Scatterbug. You'll have an increased chance to encounter shiny Scatterbug if you're lucky. So, for those of you out of the Scatterbug game for a long time, you do have to pin a certain amount of postcards from different locations to get different patterns. You can kind of see they have like a little map in your in the badge for Scatterbug, so you can kind of see what patterns come from where, which will be helpful for helping you find all of them. So you do have the increased chance to encounter shiny Scatterbug, but you never know which one it's gonna happen on. So good luck to all the shiny hunters out there.
I have a question actually. So let's say if you have Scatterbugs already stacked up, do they have a chance of being shiny because I haven't encountered it yet?
You know, that's a really good question because I have a few stacked up as well. I would think, my guess would be that if you haven't collected them, that the bonus once activated would apply to those.
I have literally not collected a single one. Like I don't have one in my Pokedex, but I have a bunch of things pinned. So I think I have almost every region.
Oh my gosh.
I was waiting for this event.
That's so not true.
That's absolutely not true.
Boarding there actually came in clutch, I feel like.
Yeah, I have just a few stacked. I haven't evolved any Scatterbug except for the modern pattern because, you know, that's where I live. Yeah. I've been waiting for all the other patterns until I have like enough candy to do all of them because my brain will not allow me to have that imperfection in my box. I have to wait until I can like just do all of them at once so that, you know, I'm not sitting with like half and half or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So my guess would be that if you have them stacked, I think that the bonus chance to encounter the shiny like would still apply to those because like how could it not? You know, like how does it like does it register like when you originally encountered it? Like no, because you haven't caught it yet, and like what doesn't register until you've caught it, I would think. But we'll see if that, you know, holds true. Or maybe we won't because our shiny luck is still just that bad. Wild encounters to go with this event will be Caterpie, Pidgey, Spearow, Wurmple, and Starly. So nothing too crazy there.
Just like it's a bunch of worms and the birds that eat them.
It's literally
eat the bugs.
Yeah, the birds and the bugs that they eat. So, you know, I was actually just thinking about that today, like while I was watching a bird like chow down on a bug, like perched on my porch. I was like, I wonder if we'll ever have a birds and bugs event because that seems kind of cruel, but here we are.
Man, you can even get shiny Pidgey.
Of course, there will be various field research task rewards, and there is also, of course, a timed research ticket available for $5 US dollars or the equivalent pricing tier in your country. Sorry. The timed research includes 16,500 Stardust, 3 rare candies, an event-themed avatar pose, which just looks like you're kind of writing postcards and then looking at what you wrote and then putting it back in front of you to rewrite it.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I was like, oh, it doesn't even like shuffle it to the back. They take it, they write on it, they put it back down at the front.
Oh no, I made a mistake. And then they put it back on the back. Encounters with event-themed Pokemon and more. So, what else? Collection challenges coming, of course, and a lucky exchange. The number of guaranteed lucky Pokemon a trainer can receive in a trade has been increased from 25 to 35. And starting Tuesday, February 18th at 10 a.m. local time, if you trade a Pokemon that has been in a trainer's storage since 2019, it is guaranteed to become a lucky Pokemon until the limit is reached. This change is permanent. That sounds like a
so essentially like all of us probably have already done the 25, right? I didn't even realize 25 was the previous limit. So does that mean that
that's like you can only receive a max of 20, like currently you can only receive a max of 25 lucky Pokemon, like just when you're doing your 100 daily.
No.
This is
say there's a new person.
You're thinking the same way.
Yeah. They make a new account, like fresh. They don't have any Pokemon. They catch a couple. They don't have any luckies. If someone else, say I, sort of go up to them and I trade them 25 Pokemon from 2019, they will all be guaranteed lucky, like 100% chance. And until your account has 25, and from this event, 35 of those guaranteed early day luckies, it racks up, and then it just becomes normal after that. Now, I don't quite know what actually, I think I can guess what the reasoning is. I think the reasoning that this exists is just so that people would like drag old players back into the game. So be like, hey, can you just like log into your account so we can do some like lucky trades? And then, hope that it sort of keeps them around and hooked. Because it's such it's a limit that you'll hit so quickly in some sense that it's like, well.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for us too, because now that it increased it from 25 to 35, theoretically, we should also be getting guaranteed lucky trades.
No, because I think, and I could be wrong on this. Like,
well, no, because if you think about it logically, the previous guaranteed limit was 25. So all of us, presumably, have probably hit that 25 by now.
Yeah, but I think...
So if they increase it to 35...
I thought that it's the number of luckies that are in your account. It's not necessarily...
No. Because if you read the wording, it's the number of guaranteed lucky Pokemon. You only have 25 guaranteed Pokemon in your account right now because that was the limit. All the rest of your luckies are not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's actually no way to know how many of the guaranteed you have.
Well, yeah. But presumably,
I mean, you can look at how old they are.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you keep track, but either way, but in all likelihood,
if you can't tell.
Well, no. I mean, I think in all likelihood, we've already hit it.
Yeah.
As long as you do trades with people, you've already hit it.
Chances are, yes.
Unless you never do trades with old Pokemon, but I know I have because I've tried to trigger luckies with
That's the thing. I haven't really had many opportunities to do that, so I'm genuinely wondering if I have hit this limit at all, and I'm thinking that maybe I actually haven't.
So you have at least 10 new ones, but you might have even more. But what I'm saying is anyone listening to this right now, if you've been playing the game since launch, you've only used up at most 25, and that's it. And so once this hits, you should have 10 guaranteed lucky spots.
In theory, that is what that means to me also. So
in theory, and grammatically too.
I mean,
don't let me down here, Niantic.
Listen, you're putting a lot of weight onto the way that they have formulated their words, and sometimes I'm not sure that plays out the way you think. So we'll have to see.
But you all understand, right? Like logically, if you read it
Yeah.
like this is how it's supposed to read, and if it doesn't work out this way, then you're gonna have people complaining on X for sure.
I'm sure.
There's no way they won't
Next
be.
tea topic incoming.
Yeah. Personally, I'm still probably gonna spend mine on Pachirisu. I don't know about you all, but
Yeah.
I still need a hundo of that one. But yeah, what are you all
Makes
spending
sense.
it on? If you have 10 luckies, you could get of anything.
Shuckle.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Shuckle
still
is a
working on
good
Shuckle?
one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Smeargle is a good one.
Oh,
No,
Smeargle
although-
is a
that
good
is a
one.
good one.
But
That is a
it'd
really
be
good one.
hard to get it with the right moveset, I think.
No,
well, that's-
well, it depends because some people, like me, take screenshots regularly of the right moveset. I have lock on Technoblast, lock on
Yeah.
Flying Press on a ton of mine.
Yeah, you can just
So-
duplicate it. Like once you get
Yeah.
one, you can just fill
Yeah.
your account with the same dude.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just call them clones. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have a Smeargle army in my thing. So
Yeah, so I think Shuckle and Pachirisu were probably the most logical candidates.
if
At
if you want Smeargle and you want to wait till Atlanta, I could give it to you. Because I have a bunch. I could just give you 10 right then and there. Save your old Pokemon. I don't need anything back because I
All
Well,
will.
right.
2019
Yeah,
Pokemon back.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
just give me Like it doesn't matter to me. I have a bunch. So
all right, I'll hold you to that.
yeah. Honestly, you should because I'm running out of space. Like I just have a bunch of.
Yeah, the
I don't
true
think you
reason
understand how
revealed.
much Smeargle I have. Yeah, I have a ton of Smeargle in
Yeah,
my
I'll
store.
take a clone off your hands.
Yeah, you can take 10. But yeah, honestly, I think it's a pretty interesting aspect to the event if that's the case. But we'll see. Anyway, so we have two things to figure out. Is that lucky for sure? And also, can you get shiny scatterbug if you have them stored already? Because I haven't encountered them yet.
We'll find
I
out
think
soon.
the answer is yes, but we
Haste
will
the
find
horse.
out soon.
I'll take a look in a second to how many I actually have stored. Because I legit get I'll bookmark the postcard or
Can
whatever.
you
But I
can
just
you
want,
have
open it.
multiple? Yeah, can
No.
you have multiple ones stacked, or is it just like
No.
one?
No,
One of
scatterbug
each.
per.
Just
Okay,
the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It stops counting the postcards after that.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I would have thought. But
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, so that does it for that event, and then we do have a small update as well regarding the the LA tour. So this was tweeted out by actually it was tweeted out, but it's also on the official website from Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go Live, saying our team has been watching the situation in Los Angeles, prioritizing safety and well-being of Pasadena, the greater Los Angeles area, and our Pokemon Go community. Obviously, if you missed out on this, there was a lot of fires in those areas, as well as some other parts of LA. In partnership with the Rose Bowl operating company and local authorities, we have made the decision to continue holding the in-person Pokemon Go Tour Unova Los Angeles experience at Rose Bowl Stadium and Brookside Golf Course, including citywide gameplay in Los Angeles and Orange County. Our thoughts are with those impacted by wildfires. More information, including what we are doing to support local communities, will be shared at a later date. I do like that, especially if they're actually going to do something there. And we understand that all trainers who purchase a ticket may be able to attend as a result of the situation, but trainers can request refunds via in-app support up until February 23rd to receive a full refund of their ticket purchase. Kind of nice. Please be aware of your surroundings and follow guidelines from local health authorities when playing Pokemon Go. Upcoming events are subject to change. Be sure to follow us, blah, blah, on social media, everything like that. I think this is fine. I actually kind of think it's a solid approach. I know that I first saw this when it was tweeted out. Look, I can't speak for everyone, right? So, even though I am someone that lives in this area, I can't speak for everyone, but I just hate when people chime in when they don't really know what's going on. Because one of the top comments is this guy from this guy's name is Vader's Blade. Probably not even a PvPer, but lives in Colorado, so it's not from California, not from SoCal at least. Honestly, you guys should be canceling it. All those people need places to stay, and they don't need Pokemon people taking over their hotels. My guy, the fires were over about a month ago, right? I don't think you understand. there's really not a lot of people still in this area that are just staying in hotels for 2 months straight, right? Because by then it's like it's not like it just I don't know. I just get annoyed by these kind of comments because it's almost like, oh, like I'm here to write like the take, I'm looking out for the people kind of thing. I was like, dude, use your brain. Like you're not really like. Did you talk to anyone from SoCal? Right? I live in the area. I live literally a couple minutes away from Pasadena and a lot of these fires. Right? Like yeah, it sucked and stuff, but this stuff is actually honestly probably better for the area because you help like stimulate the economy and have people, touring the area. Obviously, like put it this way too. If someone is legitimately living in a hotel for over 2 months from these fires, they're not going to be overtaken by people coming to the Go Tour. Because it's not going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I have my hotel booked for just until the Go Tour. I'll go book it later again for the additional weekend. Oh, wait, a bunch of people just took up my hotel room. I got to move out of my hotel. What? Like, come on, use your brain. Like, use some common sense. Like, that's not what's happening, right? And if they really are like stuck in a hotel or Airbnb and stuff for long-term duration, I guarantee you they have it booked out beforehand, right? So like, and if people from the Go Tour pre-booked their hotels, which is probably what happened, right? If they planned for their flights and stuff, they probably booked this before the LA fires even happened. Well, guess what? Those hotels are full anyway. So like for those time, and so people that are impacted by fire can't even use those rooms anyway. So I guess like the only thing that makes logical sense is you're hoping that they cancel the event so that people cancel these hotels. So the people that are stranded in hotels and Airbnbs for over 2 months are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know where to stay for this one weekend during February, but now these hotel rooms are free because a bunch of people canceled the tour, right? I don't know. It's kind of a stretch in my opinion, and I'm sure like other people can chime in if they'd like to. Some of the comments on this, someone's to respond to this. If they aren't already in a hotel, why would they all of a sudden not have availability at a later date because of Pokemon players? He said, and they respond, because there's probably hundreds of us that are taking up hotel rooms that they could use. We booked our hotels like 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm sure these rooms would be better used by first responders and FEMA. And then someone responded to Singaporean grandma. So you have canceled your tickets and room, right? I don't know. I mean, look, if like,
I just no. I think your logic is sound. There are of course some people who have already booked rooms, and that's kind of I think a overall small percentage of like things that were made available to people that have been displaced, and of course if someone is still trying to like book the room, like they're just not going to be able to, like they just simply won't, like if that space is taken up. And I would also like to chime in that I do think for as many problems as we might have with like Niantic and like event organization and stuff like that, like I do think they have shown that they are a company who is capable of like having some self-awareness of these global situations and trying to do what they can to assist. And they, even though they didn't give us details, they specifically mentioned that they will be doing something. And I fully believe that that is going to happen and that they will be transparent about it, because they have been in the past. They've shown us that's what they've done. So so I do think that we're looking at a situation where, for as much as this event still going on might be weird to some people, I do think we're looking at a situation where proceeds from this event are going to be helping that specific community in some way.
The best example I have of this is when we had that Lapras event back in 2016 or 2017, whatever, where they spawned a bunch of Lapras in Japan, and it was in the areas that were affected by tsunami, because they did this to help stimulate the economy for that. And I remember when I saw that and I heard about that, I was like so proud of Pokemon Go and Niantic, because I was just like, wow, this game they actually care, right? They literally got tons of people to fly over there and stimulate their economy after being wrecked by the tsunami. And I'm pretty sure like the time span was even like much shorter than the time span between this and the fires in LA. And obviously like SoCal's like, I mean, I don't think the economy is like in shambles by any means, right? And it's definitely a much larger place than the places impacted by the tsunami in Japan. But like it's if anything, it's more productive, right, for the areas. I don't remember people saying back then, be like, "Oh, how dare Niantic host a Lapras event in this area? What about all the people affected by tsunamis? Where are they going to stay?" Right? I was like, "Look, it's just like sure, some people might be displaced and they have to have temporary housing and stuff like that, but like I assure you, I don't think it's as like tragic as you think it is, you know? Because if that was the case, a bunch of people that live in SoCal would be like, yo, it's messed up. You didn't cancel this. Like, we need these rooms and stuff. Why is it that the whole main person that's commenting on this with this point of view is some random guy in Colorado? Where are all the people from SoCal, like me and other people, clamoring in, be like, yo, you're not looking out for us, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like that.
I mean, I know that sometimes we like the competitive community forms like kind of a smaller picture of the overall like Pokemon Go player community,
Mhm.
but I mean the SoCal like competitive community is very very big, and I feel like like you're saying there definitely would have been someone, you know, pointing out how problematic it could be if like, you know, if it drastically affected things. But for the most part, the people that I know, you know, in that specific part of California are saying that it could be very beneficial, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that that's true as well.
And they're offering refunds for anyone that doesn't want to go, right? So there's no
Yeah.
pressure and stuff like that. It's not like they're
Exactly.
taking their money. Yeah, I
If
mean,
someone out there genuinely feels like their room is disenfranchising someone else, then get your refund.
yeah, someone
go.
else commented as well to Dad Mode GG or whatever. Some guy that lives in Canada, like is saying the same. Like I don't know. It's just like people will do this on the internet no matter what. So it's not like it's no surprise to me, right? But it's just I just don't like it when people just like comment on these random things on like issues that they're not like fully familiar with. Again, I'm not saying that anyone like no one from SoCal can feel this way too, you know, but it's just like it's I assure you at least the vast majority of people that I know in my area, actually I don't know a single person that like is like, oh, this is a terrible idea. You know, it's a weekend. It's not like a bunch of people are moving in here for a month straight, you know, to play Pokemon Go.
What I see in the comments is a lot of people coming in and actually saying like, yo, like they're already scheduling other events in the Rose Bowl. Like Niantic is just like one company like that has decided to go forward with this. Dude, and there are so many others.
This is SoCal. Like there's so much stuff going on in LA all the time. There have probably been a ton of other events that have already happened prior to this one. And trust me, ain't no one in the streets being like, I could have been in these hotels instead of all these tourists. Right? Like I haven't seen any of that kind of stuff. Again, not to say it's impossible, but it's just people just say stupid stuff. I just read all these comments like, I think about the local people who may need those rooms. Just saying what? Just saying you don't know what you're talking about? Like you live in New York, my guy, right?
I was reading like you called out that comment from
you
this,
actually
like,
follow this person
yeah,
too.
I looked
at okay.
No, I looked at
I'm not saying like I don't know anything about this person, so
no, I'm reading the comments to their post, and someone actually like this other guy, Dapper Troy, is like, I live nearby and used to work at the Rose Bowl. The amount of people attending is significantly small compared to what the city and the venue can handle.
Yeah.
The amount of people attending over 3 days couldn't even fill the stadium up halfway. And then like this guy responded like, you weren't there last year then. The bowl and the golf course were packed. And Pasadena was extra crowded for 3 days. And literally Dapper Troy responds with a picture of himself like, I was there.
There's also like that's the thing, right? People like LA is a very big city, not even in the world, but definitely for the United States. So people that are flying in from their like small towns, wherever, they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much people. Dude, it's LA. There's so much people all the time. This is like a blip on the radar, right? For LA. Like it's just like, oh, there's so much traffic. Welcome to my life on a regular basis when I'm just going to the gym. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to SoCal.
I live like only like 2-3 miles away from the gym and it takes me half an hour sometimes. Like it's just a very densely populated area. It is what it is, you know? Anyway, this is nothing like I'm not like speaking on behalf of Niantic or anything like that. I'm just saying like I think it was I respect the decision they made, and I look forward to seeing what they would do, further on that too. And how they're going to help out the area. But honestly, again, the tourism, having people come in, honestly, a great way to just like help boost our economy to begin with, because yeah, that would definitely help in that respect. Anyway, let's talk about some Go Battle League.
Aw. Do we have to?
Poor Josh is like, do we?
What are we at elo wise? Because
we already know you hit legend. You said earlier.
Well, just for our audience, I'm on 3K on the dot.
Oh my god,
that's pretty clean, right? I was at 29.91. I kept like ebbing and flowing and stuff. I was like, oh, I need a 4-1 here, or I need like a 3-2, and I'll go like 1-4, right? Because I was playing for a while. I was like only like 50 points away last night when I started, and I still played like 5 sets to get it. And I think I was at 29.91 on my final set, and I was 2-2. I was like, I need this final game, and I hit it on the final one on the dot, which was nice too.
Well, I did, like I said, I did listen to the last episode, and Tristan was correct. I did hit veteran.
Yeah.
So someone owes us a maxed out holiday Dedenne.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get it ready. But where are you at? Because obviously, for those that are just tuning in, we do
he's
have
sweating
2 bets
so much.
running.
He's like, okay. Well, where are you at? Because what about like the onesie bet?
What about the onesie bet? I've not I've been just bouncing up and down with the same 100 points since I hit veteran. So right now I'm currently at 25-28.
I got a team for you, Kaz.
Okay.
Miss Ultra League expert here.
Yeah.
Well, you can too. I don't know if you have the resources.
What the heck?
I mean, you can borrow too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying plug your ears, right? The team I ran, crazy. I hit my longest win streak in the 2900s of this team this week.
My God.
Because, it's not like a crazy win streak, 13. But 13 wins in a row in the 2800s and now 2900s. No,
that's crazy.
Yeah, like it wasn't even on the first day kind of thing.
Does it have Typhlosion in it?
And it has a shadow Typhlosion. It also has a shadow. Yeah, it also has Shadow Dragonite. But I think you could probably run it without the shadow, honestly, especially in Ultra League, because everything is pretty bulky anyway. So
yeah.
But I was running Shadow Dragonite, Steelix, non-shadow, just because I don't have one, but I think you kind of need the bulk anyway, and Shadow Typhlosion. And it was good. Also, yesterday, my last match, it was they had a Virizion lead, so I'm like, oh, I'm feeling great because I got the Typhlosion in the back. And I mean, there's a chance they have Stone Edge, right? And then I think they say soft for Alligator, which, Dragonite just kind of shreds through for the most part. You do the Shadow does have the shield like every Hydra in it, which is a little unfortunate, but I think the non-Shadow will be fine. And I've literally never seen a single person throw Ice Beam at my Dragonite. I've never been hit with the Ice Beam. I've never even been, they've never even attempted to. But yeah, it's pretty nutty. And Steelix is just so annoying to deal with. It just doesn't wall off stuff, but just completely you just can't win switch over it if they shield. Tentacruel, you're gonna struggle, especially with Thunderfangs. For Alligator, I'd rather be the Steelix over the Feraligatr. It's actually that much better. You're Psychic Fangsing them, and there's they end up never landing a Hydro Cannon on you, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of people with Zygarde though that makes it kind of annoying. So give it a shot. Steve, do you have these Pokemon?
Nah.
See what I mean? That's why I said for Kaz. That's why I said
the only one I don't have made is the Steelix, but I have enough XL
to make it.
Yeah. What did you say? You lead Dragonite, and then
Dragonite, and then Zygarde lead is kind of annoying. Rollout leaders are kind of annoying, but I just swap to Steelix and try to the Typhlosion just still chunks away, even if they have rollouts. So, it's pretty nice. And a couple of Mud Slappers, you just draw it out with the Steelix, and then you usually just free the way for Typhlosion in the back. So.
Yeah. And where is Josh at?
Yeah, so I have similarly been bouncing around 2400s quite a bit. Unfortunately, I had a cataclysmic failure yesterday, and I just went 5 straight negative sets, and so I'm at 23-4 40 or something. So I've got a bit of climbing to do back.
How close can you make that Steelix for Ultra League? How much can you power it up to? Not enough.
No.
I mean, I
I'm
definitely
just
don't know.
curious.
Actually, I have a good Steelix that's like, a best buddy candidate, but
Okay.
I would need another 220 XLs that I did not have. So
220. What the heck?
I've got like 75. So not on the cards.
That's
but
gonna be a hard one to make.
I've been
okay,
playing Love Cup, but anyway, I guess I have to pay my dues in terms of bet number
Yes.
one, and then I
yeah,
have to
let's
hope that
see the Dedenne.
Kaz can't hit Thingo this. So we got our one and only costume Dedenne just hanging out.
All
I think
right.
that I might
11,
have put
11.
like 3 power ups into it for like a quest or something. But anyway, we can go so obviously we can't go all the way to 296 because I don't have that sort of XLage. I've got.
I mean, you don't have XLs for Steelix. You definitely don't have the Dedenne.
I actually have more Dedenne XLs than I have
That's
Steelix
crazy.
XLs.
How? Dedenne don't even spawn that much.
I'm a big Dedenne fan, man. What can I tell you?
Apparently.
But okay, we can spend 76 XLs. So it's 293,000. Is that right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds
Not too
that's
bad.
fine. That's
So,
fine. That's where not grinding paid off for Steve. He doesn't have the power to
exactly.
stick up as much.
Got the green screen, yes.
Yeah. What is it? What does it go to now?
Whee!
What's that,
Oh,
1890?
You know,
1890.
If I'm
maybe
reading
you should
backwards,
use
right?
that in Ultra League.
I was gonna say new Ultra League team incoming.
That's
Just
a
replace
team for Kaz.
the Steelix with the Dedenne. It's honestly the same thing, right? You draw out the Mud Boy with the Dedenne, just like how the Steelix would, and you could
Yeah.
still counter,
Counter
like,
what?
flyers. I guess
Counter what?
At 1890.
you wall off Mandibuzz. Think about that.
Yep.
pretty
Okay,
good.
so if I just get nothing but Mandibuzz and I get good alignment, we could do this.
Yeah, could be
Let's
good.
go.
No,
A couple Galarian Ultras I've seen too.
it's not as
okay,
good. But
Yeah.
well. Shout out to Dene.
How do we do this? Do me and Cash just get a point for all time bets? I guess we both get one because there's no like losing, or does Steve
Yeah,
just lose a point?
I guess
we
so.
both get one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We can run it that way.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
gonna
getting a
put
point.
additional one in there for the legend bet because I've already got mine. We'll see who gets second place in that one. And
Yeah.
we'll get a point for that too. Wait, I'm the one that gets
I'm
to pick
just-
the.
I'm just
I get to
trying
pick the
not-
outfit, right? Because I
Yeah.
got first. Okay,
That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be Slowpoke.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
like the obvious pick, which I'm a fan of, I think. I think it makes the
Slowpoke,
most
yeah.
sense.
It's bold. It's pink too.
Yeah.
Well,
If you're really creative, I'm not pointing at Steve. I'm just saying in general, either of you, you can make yourself a Slowking like shell and put it in your head. Dude, how funny would that be? I don't know if Pokemon allow it, but if you're on stream and then you win and then you like put the thing on your head.
Yeah.
And if you lose, you put it on your tail.
I'm pretty sure that might go against their policies.
Yeah,
but
they might have to
I
cut
don't
the
know.
stream at that point.
Because
I
like
mean,
cosplaying
if they have a okay, so if they have official like Slowking, Slow Bro shell, that's totally fine. Or if you make it yourself, homemade Pokemon stuff is allowed
yeah.
as long as it's
Yeah.
like appropriate, like so like let's say like if you made like I think Gerald had, or I don't know about Gerald, but Soph always has like a lot of like knit Pokemon that she knits herself, and she could put it on
Mhm.
stream because she made it herself. Or like if you had like I know some people like they have a kid and their like kid made
All
them
right.
like a Pikachu drawing, right? They put it on stream. So
all right, I'll let Jen know.
oh snap!
But like, I mean, the thing
That's
is, like,
true.
obviously, I won't be competing at Worlds at the very least. So, like,
Well, you don't know that it's not actually too.
I'm
late,
pretty
right?
confident.
How many how many
actually,
points do you
okay.
have to your what's your ranking on the championship leaderboard?
Like 30th or something. But like, I am hoping to be casting the Australian regional, so I might not be competing again.
Oh wait, how many is it from
10.
Australia? 10.
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
It's like so tough in that like top 8 is guaranteed points that you sort of need to hit top 8 in like 2 regionals to sort of lock it in.
Wait, so where are you going to wear this onesie if you don't compete again this season?
So it would just be like as a spectator at Worlds. Was the
Yeah.
Okay. Is Jen going to Worlds?
I'm trying.
Okay.
Trying to convince
Yeah.
her. No, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like she's made like when we've done Pokemon costume stuff before, she's like when we all did the evolutions, she
Mhm.
handmade all of the ears for all of us. So like she's capable, she's talented, and I know she'd be excited.
So worst case scenario, you could bring it over.
I also know a lot of cosplayers who go to Dragon Con, so like don't tempt me to call up the army.
Okay, so I have a question though. How I'm related to this, but I just thought of it. How do you even encounter a scatterbug? Like I'm in the postcard section. Like I don't even know. That's why I don't have
Oh,
it. 'cause I don't know.
You go to your badge.
Yeah, you have to go to the badge.
See, this is
the
why I've
badges
never
section
gone
of your
around to it.
profile, and you click on the scatterbug one, the butterfly one, and then it shows you like all the different patterns.
I didn't know about that at some point, but I just
and that's where they're stored. It'll look like the wild Pokemon encounters.
Yeah, look,
that you see.
collect Vivian across the. I literally have 0 progress on this, but I have almost all of them. I have all but 4, or no, all but 5.
So the question is, which ones don't you have? I'm willing to. Can I place some wagers?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I'm
I'm not very
bet-
familiar with these myself, so maybe Steve
I'm
can
willing
too.
to bet that the ones that you don't have, you said there are 4,
5.
5.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that you definitely
3 of them don't have any progress at all.
I'm thinking that you don't have Sandstorm. That's like
Mhm.
one of the hardest ones to get, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Where's that from? Sandstorm.
It's like from the Middle East, basically, exclusively.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind then.
I think that another one that's probably really hard to get is what is this?
I'm missing Icy Snow.
Yeah, Icy Snow. I think is like one of the next hardest ones to get because it's like there's the polar one, but then Icy Snow is like even further north in like uninhabited, almost uninhabited areas. Like
it's like Pachirisu
Greenland
area.
Yeah, it's like Greenland and northern Canada, like the Arctic Circle. We're literally talking about. And I think that some of the other ones that are probably hardest to get, you probably have Ocean because you were in Hawaii.
Okay.
Like that'd be really hard for me to see you.
I will say you two are right about the Icy Snow and Sandstorm. I have 1 for Sandstorm somehow, but I don't have any for Icy Snow.
Do you have any from the Sun region?
Go Fish.
Oh shoot! Dang, I accidentally clicked on a scatterbug. So that one definitely
You don't
can't
have
be
to
shiny.
catch it.
I know, but I was
but
just trying to
he's-
click on like the region.
Well,
but,
yeah.
It didn't actually help because it didn't show the region. It just had the thing.
No, there's that little like magnifying glass next to the map. Like if you click that, it should show you.
No, Sun region I have a lot of from because I think
Okay.
Mexico probably hit that in, or like Central America. It looked like most of Mexico, so I have plenty from there. I have 1 more that doesn't have any progress. Oh, no, 2 more that don't have any progress towards it.
I mean, surely you've got River, right?
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
How about this? I'll give you three bad guesses remaining. So if you guess any of them right, it doesn't count towards your guess. But you
There's
have
only
3
like
bad
20
guesses.
total.
Yeah, so your odds are pretty good, right? There's 3
Mhm.
missing, and you have
I just
3
like,
more like lifelines.
I'm just looking at some of these and I'm like, what about Jungle?
That's 1. No progress on
Oh,
jungle.
really? You
Yeah.
don't have any progress on Jungle?
No-
That's
no
kinda
progress on
wild.
Jungle.
Because like I would
Who
have
lives in a
thought.
jungle?
There's
Yeah, it
sort of
looks like-
Southeast Asia and then parts of South America, parts of Africa.
Yeah, it's like the
I probably have some
northern
friends
part.
in those areas. Definitely not the Africa, but like not
Yeah.
that part of Africa. But I probably have some friends from those areas, but I just don't.
Do
own
their
their areas.
postcards. I reckon you're missing
or-
Meadow.
Meadow?
It's like France. But it's like
Oh yeah, it is
No,
like
I've
specifically.
done off Meadow. All right, you got 2 lives
Okay.
left. You get
I reckon
2
it's
more.
going to be one of those ones that's like tundra. It's like
Yeah, I was gonna
Just
say
out
like
there.
tundra.
Tundra is correct.
yeah.
One left. I don't have any progress for Tundra actually.
That's weird
It's
because
like,
it's like
it's like Iceland,
well, yeah, it's
in, like,
Iceland, and then it's like
Upper Japan.
what is that?
yeah,
Like
northern Japan by the looks of it.
Norway, maybe.
I don't, oh yeah.
hmm.
Tundra, I have no progress, and there's one more left, but I have 2 out of 3, so I've gotten gifts from this area, I guess.
Okay, if you don't have jungle, I think that you also don't have monsoon.
Oh yeah,
You
monsoon.
got
Oh,
one
he's got
lifeline left.
Monsoon.
I got Monsoon.
Oh,
I don't know how, but I'm just bookmarking stuff. Why do I have Monsoon? That one
Okay.
does look pretty weird.
Kaz can have
That's like,
last guess.
it's like Southeast Asia. Monsoon is actually really hard. There's only like one spot in the whole world.
do you have Savannah? You have to have Savannah.
Are you going with Savannah as your guess, or you're saying
Yes.
you? What do you mean? Wait, why do you say I have to have Savannah, but then you guess I don't have Savannah?
Because it's like I just that's the only one that's like left that is sort of less accessible to me.
Where is
Like-
Savannah even at?
It's only in sort of mid South America.
Oh no, I got that one. It's I think probably a lot of my Brazilian friends sent me.
Yeah,
that's like where
what
Brazil
that's why
is,
I
right?
that's why I thought. I was like
Well, also
you've
like if I
gotta
get
have-
gifts from LAIC, that's like easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Well, because sometimes if I'm there, I'll send them too, right? And I'll just
I
bookmark
think
them.
it might be a little too north for LAIC, but maybe other
Maybe.
parts of
Yeah,
Brazil. So your Brazilian friends.
No, it was actually Marine. I'm 2 out of 3.
Didn't we say Marine? I thought Steve
Nah.
said Marine.
No, I don't
oh,
think so.
okay.
No Marine.
Dang. Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
so
we got a lot.
that's the
little,
Scatterbug event.
little sidetrack there, but it's what it is.
I know how much Caleb loves a bet.
Yeah, we didn't make a bet on that one, but I thought it was a little fun little game there that we could play.
Yeah, I have I have at least one scatterbug from all of the currently available regions. There are currently 4 that I have stacked. So
So
those
you
4
also
could be shiny later. And I don't know what I think one of them is modern. I think they're all like North American ones, honestly.
Okay, well, if anyone has icy snow, send me a DM so I can get your postcards. Thanks.
I will say, I think the only way,
or send a DM to the real Kalo because I need those too.
I think the only way that I got icy snow was from, one of those, like when it first came out and
Yeah.
Discord servers were like adding channels like for communication. Because I think the only person that I have on my list that like has it is literally like one random person that I'm still friends
Dude.
with and sends me gifts like occasionally.
Those people are saints, man, because they're probably sending gifts to a ton of people. But on top of that, it's icy snow, so I'm just imagining them walking out in a blizzard trying to spin a Pokestop.
What was really terrible was that like the sandstorm one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a friend who had like gone to Egypt and I got a gift from there, so I had one. I needed just 2 more gifts for like just the one encounter, right? And I got one of those random people on a Discord server to like send me a gift, but then they like never sent me another one. And so I like I was like put out a message on like some of my more active servers, like, I swear anybody I just need one more from this region to like get my one spawn. And like a different friend was like, oh, I just got back from Egypt. Like, I think I have like 1 gift left. She literally had 1 gift left in her inventory. And I was like, yes.
Dang.
Yes.
Teaming clutch.
Is
is it guaranteed if you pin something that you'll make a progress? Okay, that's nice. So it's not
they all count because you have to have, it's like 3 for your first one, and then it's like, I think it's like 6 for your next one, and then 9 for the next one, or maybe it's like 9 and then 15. I can't remember the numbers, but it's like you need a small amount to get your first scatterbug from that region, and then like a larger amount for your second one, and then a larger amount for your third one. And there's also one curious thing, like since we're kind of revisiting the event, one curious thing is that there is actually one scatterbug pattern that is not released in Pokemon Go.
Oh.
It's the Pokeball pattern of the
Oh.
scatterbug. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't include that with the event, but maybe it'll be a surprise or something.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
maybe it'll be
I don't
released.
know how they'll do it.
maybe it'll be released before next holiday season, so that when we do cookie decorating, I could be like Pokeball Vivillon from above.
Pavilion from above. Pavilion with wings spread.
I'm so bummed that I didn't get as many votes for that one. I thought it was genius. But
well, they were
so
too busy
much.
voting for mine.
Same.
It's true.
Same.
It's true. It's true.
Anyway,
Yeah.
That-
Let's over to the championship series because we have some updates. No, there was no regionals this past weekend, but there's some news. We have a news from Play Pokemon Standards of Conduct and Inclusion Policy. This was an update. They had like some stuff, especially around like the U.S. election stuff. But it says Play Pokemon will always strive to foster safe communities. This is like a post on their official website. I think they also post on X as well. Safe community space for all participants in our program. Our standards of conduct and exclusion policy have consistently served as a determining factor in how we expect our participants to conduct themselves in all areas of the program, from in-person events to online communities. While Play Pokemon does not actively monitor program members' social media for violations, if we are made aware of online profiles that principally engage in harassment or promote violent views that threaten other members of our community or events, this can be found as a violation of our policies and result in disciplinary action. Play Pokemon holds no tolerance for these behaviors. Program members who act in this way, either in person or online, can be immediately removed at our sole discretion, and in severe cases, without the ability to appeal. The Play Pokemon program is dedicated to upholding our values in inclusion to maintain and improve our community spaces as safe and welcoming for everyone. We thank each and every one of you for being part of the community, lending itself to be diverse and special place for us all. I think it was well written, and I think it was mostly in relation to it was on the TCG end, I believe.
Yeah,
or at
I
least one
think
place
so.
with TCG, but they were posting some pretty aggressive tweets online or replying to some, and there were definitely hints or they were alluding to violence towards certain groups of demographics in the community. I'll just say what it is. It was like, I think they're mostly just transphobic, right? And yeah, there's no place for that. So I'm glad that the Pokemon company responded to it. And even though they said like, oh, we're not monitoring it, I think to my knowledge, a lot of people reported those, like their screenshots and reported those tweets, and that's how they probably had the evidence to. I think they got sanctioned. I actually don't know. I think some people were posting about it, but I didn't really read too much into it. I don't know who's like banned or not.
They got indefinitely banned, so
They did,
there's
okay.
no end date on the ban, but it's not necessarily permanent.
I think their X account got banned or suspended too.
Yeah, it did actually, but they're back.
Part of me
so-
was, oh, they are back.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're back.
Part of me was curious to see, like,
I'm
I just wanted to
surprised.
see them like cry about being banned online, but I don't know if they did that or not.
Nah, they didn't really give a negative reaction. I mean, like, they were receiving a lot of backlash, like rightfully so.
For sure.
But so they were. I wouldn't say they were like crying or anything, but they were definitely sort of reposting posts that were sort of more favorable to them, even from like people that were sort of. I know there was one tweet from a TCG player that was like, "Look, like obviously, not cool stuff they were posting, but let's not respond to hate with hate sort of vibe," and they were sort of retweeting that sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, now they don't want hate to be on them, right? Like, I did it, but don't hate me. Like, what? No, okay, again, I'm not encouraging it either, but I just think it's kind of clownish behavior in my opinion. But okay. Well, that's that from the rule standpoint. We got some Australian news.
We do.
Reporting from the ground here.
Let's go.
PvP
New
Josh.
Australian news. Finally,
got?
after so many months, now that we're in February of 2025, over halfway through the season, we have news of our third Australian regional. Finally, let's go. So as literally everyone predicted, because it was the obvious answer of where and when it was going to be, it is going to be Melbourne in May.
There's only like 3 cities in Australia, right? So it's got to be one of these. I'm just kidding. Don't come for me, Australia. This is just like what I know. I know four actually. Newcastle is the fourth one.
Let's go.
Yeah, we
Population
know
of
that if it had
2.
been,
Population of 3.
we know that
Zoe,
if
her
it had been
husband, and
Perth,
Steve.
yeah, we know that if it had been Perth, Steve would not have made it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been as exciting. But yeah, essentially Melbourne Regionals, May 17th to 18th. So it's there. It's finally announced. It's happy days. Even though they originally said they would announce it early January. I wouldn't call the 8th of February early January, but hey, they also posted at like 6 a.m. Australia time, but you know, it is what it is.
So, there. What did they have registration info already or no?
Nah, although I think they said that it usually opens up a month earlier, but like we still have Brisbane Regional that they did open up Rego recently for Brisbane next month, so we'll see how we go. But anyway, we have a third regional, so happy days. I thought that the US regional might also get announced at the same time, but nah. Still waiting on that one.
Oh yeah, when is that one? Did they even announce a date for that or in the month?
We have the date, I think, right?
Really?
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I just know they always tease it when we're like doing commentary and stuff.
Yeah, I thought that they had teased like the timing of it.
I think they've at least timed it, like they've slotted it in the like last slot so that it's the last regional. So you can sort of at least...
It's kind of like how Fresno was too. My guess is probably like a venue like thing. Like they just still need to confirm with the venue. I don't know, but because it's not like it's a regional, so like there's not really the big reason to like drag that on.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's not a hype thing. that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
Anyway.
We'll see if we have info on that later on.
Maybe.
But yeah. So does it conflict with any other regionals?
It's the same weekend as Utrecht, someone said. So
which weekend is it again?
May 17th, 18th.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that there's any major events or whatnot going on that weekend. I haven't looked hard into it, but because it has come out while we were recording. But
major like Pokemon Go event?
Yeah, like major Pokemon Go.
Oh, probably just like a weekend event, but yeah, not like a tour thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I know there's like some Taiwan event or something in some time, but I don't know when that is.
Yeah, I know there's a big event in India that's like the same weekend as Brisbane Regionals. So there's a few Aussies that already booked their trip to India.
Oh, really?
Obviously aren't going to Brisbane Regionals now.
Yeah. What is it that easy to fly to India from? Australia?
I wouldn't say it's not like an easy, cheap destination, but it's way closer than anything going on in the US or
That's true. That's fair. Okay, well, good news on that. And then we also have some data from Chris Brown, not to be confused with the musician, but the Pokemon. What do you call it? I was going to pull up the official title, the director of global esports and events producer at Pokemon. So, anyway, so Chris Brown tweets this month: San Antonio, U.S. and Birmingham, UK. Mark 5 premier events in each of the North America and Europe for our 2025 season. Here is how average attendance looks for each game at the halfway point of the season. You're the data graph guy, Steve. So can you break this down? Because I got a little confused looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's sort of 3 things to take from it, I guess, in some sense. So the first is that like TCG has absolutely exploded like insanely because like they had like 700 and like this is 3 years in a row. So 2019, 2020, 2022 because obviously there was the COVID gap year. But like in 2019 they had 742. 2020 741 average attendance in North America. Okay, 2022 734. So it's staying like flat. Like, they're getting the same people every time. They're easy to predict, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, 2023, it massively jumps from 700 to 1,200. 2024, it massively jumps up from 1,200 to 2,000. 2025, it's already up to 2,500 average attendance.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like over 4 times in like 3 years.
Honestly, that's why getting these freaking cards are so hard too. No, I didn't tell you all what I was doing this morning, but I woke up early to go to my local GameStop to pick up the Blooming Waters because they were like, selling like they had it was like all that frenzy at Costco. It's like the new it's like a set. It was not a new set, but it's like a set that's like really nice. It's like they have 151 booster packs in each
Oh, okay.
box, which is kind of nice. Of the original like Gen 1 Pokemon, I guess.
Got it.
And I don't know, it's like all the clips of people like snagging all the stuff from Costco's. That's the set. But Costco accidentally released it early for some reason, a few weeks early.
okay.
I don't know why they weren't supposed to or whatever. But GameStop was like, oh, we're not like Costco. They like subtweet them or quote tweet them. Like, we're going to limit 2 per customer. It's like, okay. I still show up like early. I think I went like an hour and a half early, whatever. Small line out front door. No big deal. I was like maybe like 6th or 7th in line. It's like, there's no way I don't get this, right? And then sure enough, at 10 a.m. when the doors open, people go in, they take like first 5 at a time and take the next couple. I was like, all right, I'm in the second wave, no big deal. I wasn't the last person. I wasn't the next person to go, but the person right before me was going to be the next person to buy a set. They're all out. I was like, what? That was like a limited 2. That means like what? 6 people, 7 people got boxes? Like, what is that? That's crazy. I was like, oh, dude. And honestly, I'm not even like a collector or anything. I was trying to get it for someone else, because I know like they're a big fan of it. So I was like, oh, let me just, I'm free this morning, so let's just wake up early. It's like, dude, I can't even get these things. And I know a lot of these people aren't even necessarily playing TCG, the card game, but they're just collecting the cards. But the card game is popping. Honestly, I was gonna say Niantic. Like the Pokemon Company can make a lot of money by just selling more cards.
Yeah.
Like the Pokemon Company, what I realized over the years is that they have an infinite money loop that they could take advantage of. And I feel like sometimes they just don't because they're like we good, But
I also feel like they operate kind of similarly to Nintendo in general, which is that like they'll never do so at a loss. So
yeah. Well, because they always sell out.
And also
they're never
like
risking oversupply.
For reference, those numbers that you were quoting, Josh, those are NA specific.
That's
the
crazy.
EU. In the EU, we also have like a similar pattern, but it almost seems to be going up even more exponentially. Like it's almost doubling like every year since 2022 with TCG specifically.
It's
and
pretty crazy.
Those little gray bars at the top show you how much the Go participation has been increasing kind of steadily over the years as well. Although I will point out that in the EU graphic, it actually shows that we had diminishing Pokemon Go players between 2024
and 2025. Pretty strong these days compared to EU participation. Not by much, but
increasing like in terms of like Pokemon Go numbers specifically, like I would say that's quite a sizable increase each year for Go.
Mm-hmm.
But the NA player base, I think, is just like more broad and diverse than a lot of the other regions. In terms of like people who are traveling to go to these events.
Because when we first had the breakdown of how many people qualify from each region, right? Like we said, I think it was like Tristan that said, well, if you look at the leaderboards for NA, there's actually more people on it, right? Maybe we don't attend as many events. Maybe it's not many frequent flyers, but there's actually just more unique participants. So, so I guess in a way too, I'm not surprised because like for EU to kind of keep up with NA's numbers, they have to they have to constantly have all the same people go to all these events, which again, like it's a time and cost issue, right? For I'm sure, right? So whereas
can
for
I push
us,
back
we
on
just have
that?
so many people.
Because look,
I know it's cheaper to travel there.
No. Like the direct point. So 2024 numbers from Chris Brown's graph in NA 110 average, in EU for 2024 129 average. So EU is actually bigger on average.
Well, no, yeah.
I think it's unique people. Sorry,
yeah. Because like it's like a lot of the same people, right? Whereas like maybe this time around, like more people are burnt out this year because they've been traveling a lot or whatever. Whereas for NA, like even people are burnt out, there's just so many more people attending. I think,
because if you look at the numbers for this year, like this is for Pokemon Go specifically. 2025 is the first year that we have like more players for Go in NA than we do in the EU.
Yeah. Okay. I will say, I think, and someone made this point in one of the other games, and I think it's potentially true and could be helping to fuel this seemingly exponential rise in the other games. the decrease in the number of regionals is real. So, like, I think there is some level of condensing going on in which, like, you know, someone might be able to attend 3 events a year, say, and that's the opportunities are shrinking a little bit. So you sort of have to pick and choose a little bit more. And so I think that just ramps up the average player number a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is something to think about, but not really as much of a thing in Go, I would say. But
So I was actually kind of curious about this because I think 2022 to 2023, that increase makes a lot of sense for TCG, right? And for VGC. Well, yeah, because VGC is crazy too. It went from 196 to 589, like more than double. That was like actually percentage-wise, that was actually a much bigger increase than it was for even TCG.
And it was also like that in the EU for reference, because it went from 202 to 512 for VG.
So I thought, like, okay, my thought was this is the first time they're going to have Worlds in Japan. That's pretty big. A lot of people want to qualify for that, right? Like, that's going to be like Pokemon Worlds in Japan. Like, it doesn't get more Pokemon and more culturally relevant than that, right? And also a lot of people probably love Japanese culture that engage in Pokemon. But I thought it was interesting because after that, it kept growing like at a crazy rate, particularly for TCG, right? But even for VGC, still it grew a decent amount. I'm just thinking, wait, okay, for Hawaii, okay, but now for Anaheim, like I was like, okay, I don't think my theory was correct that it was just because Japan, right? Like, you know, it's just like I think just more people are getting into the game.
Well, I mean, I think that while the Yokohama World Championship was certainly like an instigator, like once you sort of get that interest going in a new part of the player base, like you know, you're gonna keep like I think adding to that. You know, those same people, like once they kind of like have that experience, I think are more likely to repeat it. So that's just my theory.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think the one thing that Tristan did note on this topic as well was the sort of like, hey, you know, we've got in NA, it's 140 average at the moment. In 2019, VG had 127 average. Maybe there's room for us to sort of get that same explosion. I'm a little more doubtful because I think that the VG competitive pipeline is a bit easier to get into than the Go one.
Yeah, like we said earlier in the podcast, like this game needs to be way more accessible for people to get into it. Like we have, it's so interesting. I think it's almost like I equate this to analogy to YouTube streaming in the sense that Twitch is still the biggest streaming platform, but YouTube has way more potential for it because they have way more active users. You got a lot of people just watching YouTube is already using the site, whereas Twitch, there's a lot less people using the site. But for live stream purposes, that's where a lot of people go to. So YouTube has the potential to tap into their audience and really explode their live stream user base. But they just haven't because they haven't like been able to make a good live stream software to keep like creators there, and a lot of them just go back to Twitch after their contracts are over. And I feel like Pokemon Go is similar in the sense that there's so many people that play Pokemon Go, but a lot of them don't PvP. And so we have like a market. I mean, that's why, in my opinion, when we have Worlds and we have all these giveaway codes or whatever, redemption codes, our viewership is crazy because you have actual real people that want to get the codes and want to go, but they'll just go get the code and dip out usually. Some might stay, but I think a lot of them will probably just go and dip out, which means that there's always a potential for that to be a regular viewership kind of experience if those people were, you know, actually interested in PvP. It's not like everyone that plays Pokemon Go casually was even in the streams, right? So a lot of them aren't even doing that. So I think there's a lot of potential.
The only way that we can increase like the competitive player base is literally just a Niantic issue. Like they just have to make it more accessible for people to be able to play competitively.
Yeah. I mean, I think like they personally too, I think they can make the game a little more complex and everything too, right? But
well, yeah.
But
that's how
again, these are all in Niantic's wheelhouse.
That's how you kind of like maintain the community that already exists. Yeah. I'm thinking about just like baseline adding new players, which we do see. Like we're seeing a few more like new names pop up in these regional discussions. Right. But I'm saying that if you want to keep that like happening. Like we really have to work on, you know, getting this game to be more accessible. Like especially since the meta already kind of shifts slightly every 3 months. You know, so there's certainly opportunity for them to do so, I think. So our usual like Niantic, if you're listening.
I think Pokemon Go's PvP's peak in terms of player base for the PvP side of things was probably still during COVID, like 2020 to maybe 2021. But also at the end of 2020, it was end of 2020 is when they released XLs. And I do wonder if the release of XLs made the game a lot less accessible and maybe a lot more people fell off PvP, or it just coincidentally. That's more of a
I think it
coincidence.
probably has a little bit to do with it, especially since, I mean, the reason that it was an issue then is similar to what we're seeing now. Because, like, at the time, you had Pokemon that were super meta relevant, like Lickitung, that you needed XLs for.
Yeah.
Azumarill is still meta relevant, and you need XLs for. But now we have even more Pokemon.
Yeah. Corviknight in Ultra League, number 1 in Ultra League. Need a bunch of resources for that.
And Galarian Corsola now being pretty consistent at every regional in 2025. So it certainly is not a non-issue like the introduction of XL candy, but I would say that there's like, you know, on the list of things, it's probably not the most high up there. Because even when you have a Pokemon that demands a lot of XL, like as long as you have one of those Pokemon, you have a pretty reliable way to get those XL. But it's getting the Pokemon itself.
Right.
Like when that's the problem, then you have a whole other set of issues.
Yeah.
Where are our Rookity? Hashtag.
Freaking Galarian Corsola too. I finally got one though, so I could trade for some at the Unova Tour because I'm definitely. That's actually, I feel like a really easy. Hopefully, we'll see. I'll report back after the event's over. But like, I feel like I could get a lot of because those aren't special trades, so I could get like a lot of rerolls from like casuals that don't want them. You know, hopefully they don't ask for anything special trade in return because. But we'll see how much.
Yeah, I want to scam these people. Come on.
Like, they don't need it. They don't need it. You know, I'm not asking for the shiny, but I might try to mirror the shiny, but we'll see. Okay. And then outside of that, that's interesting data for sure from Chris Brown. So shout out to Chris Brown and the Pokemon Company for collecting that and sharing that out and for the transparency, honestly. And then we have this was just, I don't know who added this agenda, but it wasn't me, but I'm glad it did. There is a Unova tour, Play Pokemon Go Cup, hosted by one of my local organizers. I was going to say Disguised Totes because that's his username on X, but it's actually James Ablation. Been around the scene for quite a while, and it'll be streamed as well. So it'll be on twitch.tv/Team Rocket PvP. And hopefully you'll see me on stream because I'm trying to win. But the entry is $20, but pricing is determined by number of participants. And honestly, like they're very generous with the prizes in general. I usually get like if I do well, I get like a bunch of like ETBs and boxes and stuff and cards. So yeah, definitely show up if you have the chance to. You could look at Disguised Totes on X to find more information on it if you're going to it. It is going to be the Friday night of that tour. So I know some people have Friday during the playtime, but a lot of people have Saturday, Sunday. And honestly, you can still make it even if your play day is Friday. But I think most people want to do that at 6 p.m. start time. And it's in Culver City, California. So a little bit further away from the Rose Bowl, but not too bad. And it'll be good. Last year we had like 40-something people, 50-something people. That's a good chunk.
It's still funny to me that like it awards the same amount of points as like a 4-person like for winning. It's pretty
I was
crazy.
undefeated in the Swiss rounds too, but I didn't win the whole thing. I still got decent points, yeah. So anyway, definitely be on the lookout for that if you're going to the LA Unova tour. If you can't find the original tweet, you can also look at my profile on X because I retweeted it too. That's about it for our Play Pokemon and events and all that other stuff we were talking about. And I think this leads us to YouTube comments because we have
Yeah,
a few from last week. So let's take a look at that real quick. Hopefully my Google's not hacked again. Okay, it's not. I get like
why is
nervous now too after this happened. Yeah.
the Battle Cats account is some crypto stream. What's
Some crypto
Dude, for
stuff.
real. Actually, there was one comment from the last week's episode that I think commented, so we'll make sure we cover that first. Slight apologies for the later YouTube version upload. But Cass was on the weather, so totally understandable.
true.
But if there's ever a time where like Cass not feeling well or whatever, blah blah, like the YouTube version's not up, always be sure to check out the podcast version, because the audio version is usually just faster to be up in general, because even if we have the thumbnail ready, it still takes forever for me to upload and process the YouTube version. So I asked if we should do a Cass's quarantine going. Oh wait, that was from last time. All right. Oh, okay. This is a comment from Board Stiff. I'm probably too late in the week with this comment, but on nosepass facing north in game, if you click on a nosepass on the map, it will obviously turn and face you for the encounter. But when you flee the encounter, if you watch the nosepass, after a few seconds, it will turn back to facing north. That's wild.
yeah?
It is the only Pokemon that will independently turn away from the player on the map following a flee encounter. That's a fun fact right there.
It's really cool. It's just like they didn't have to do it. Like when they made the game, it's just a decision they made that was like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. We could do that, and then they did it, and it's awesome. I like.
I love those kind of like fun little like Easter egg kind of game design things. I think they make the game like it really like adds. It's like the little things that makes a game feel more alive, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and well made. It's not the big things. Well, the big things also help, but.
I mean, little things like that, they do tend to add up, and I love finding like little things like that, like in the game, or like when they introduced buddies, seeing how different like Pokemon would act on your buddy screen was also like super fun, you know, because obviously like a lot of the legendaries and stuff will like fly up like really high, like Ho-Oh is like so far above me, but like if I'm buddying a Pidgeot, like they'll fly right next to me,
right.
So it's like little things like that, kind of make the in-game experience far more interesting. They finally updated like visually the Pokedex. That reminds me, did you guys see
it? Yeah, it looks nice. I didn't get to take a look at it too much just because I didn't get my count back until last night, but yeah, I did see it briefly when I was trying to look for the scatterbug stuff. Okay, so let's head over to the comments from last week's episode. We actually got a special comment from Magmore Man, so probably tuned in. I don't know if he's a regular listener or he just tuned in for this one in particular, but he said, "Okay, so I'm going to provide a bit of context for the haughty language that I used in my rebuttal. When it was initially announced that Corviknight got nerfed to its current state, I posted that Corviknight would be much more reasonable and that we can buff it later if needed. However, I got dogpiled on for that because everyone was excited for it to break the meta. Now I have my gripes. About the meta, and honestly, I think the community has similar gripes. However, I'm of the opinion that making Corviknight busted is not the answer. And I think everyone on at least of the four of us, we kind of agree with that. Or actually the three of us, because I don't think Kaz was here last week for that conversation, right?
I was not.
Yeah.
But
what do you think?
Say
do you think,
that I do.
I know you love birds, but how busted should Corviknight really be?
No, I mean, I get that we want, to take a more conservative approach. Like instead of releasing something that potentially breaks everything and being unable to nerf it later. Like I think that going forward the way they did is probably the safer bet for like the longevity of the meta currently. And the fact of the matter is, even as it was nerfed, like still very usable, still like very good for the meta in general. So I would agree with all of y'all and Magmar Man as well.
Yeah. Okay, we got another comment from who is Josh, and no better person to reiterate this than Josh. So break down the follow-up comment.
Okay, so it is a long one. Holy, I didn't even realize how long it was.
Oh my god, yeah, no,
probably the reason why I passed it off.
All right, so even with the breakdowns and examples, you can still find some things dubious about the wording. We we're pretty special. When transferring Pokemon during Com Day, I was referring to the total amount in your storage at the time before Com Day starts. So you ask the losers how many Pokemon they have in their storage when the event is announced, and that's the baseline for your transfer, 50% of what you already have. Although, surely you're not going to have much. If you don't play, 50% of your current storage is gone. Let's use Shelmet and Carablast as an example. Thanks, Niantic, for this, though. It's a bit of a pain. If you had 50 Shelmet and 50 Carablast in your storage before Com Day, you would have to send 25 of each to the grinder. Pause from the comment. None of us have 50. Like, I feel like a number's going to be
No.
really
I don't
low.
think losers transferring too many. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you that too.
not
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. I might have one of each, maybe. So like,
Yeah.
I guess it rounds up to one. But I'll keep reading here. But if you then caught another 50 of each, totaling 100, you could, in theory, delete the 50 you caught on that day, keeping what you had originally in your storage if you wanted to. This sort of defeats the purpose of the bet. Fair enough, though, as you'd be deleting your Pokemon you caught during the 3-hour window, leaving you with just what you had at the start. The aim is to motivate you enough to catch the Pokemon so you don't end up transferring your rank 1 shiny or any other Pokemon you deem valuable. You could just transfer shiny Pokemon, but that's a bit boring and lacks real risk. But that's up to you if you only want to transfer shiny Pokemon. I don't know. I'm disagreeing here, but let's get through the comment. I'd suggest everyone make their predictions for the next community day either when or after the current one has been announced. So for March, you could make your prediction now, today. And for April's Com Day, you could predict in the next podcast after March's Com Day has already been announced, or even a little later to allow everyone time to lock in their decisions. For the typings for the Pokemon, you get 2 points for guessing the correct typings. If you only pick a single type like Rock and Rock Steel comes up, you'd get 1 point because you picked 2 typings in your guess. So it pays to be bold if you want to go for a single typing to score 2 points. This applies to the final typing too. You could even guess typings that aren't on the Pokemon you've backed to try and get some points. For example, if I picked Rockruff for March's Com Day, I could pick a dual typing like Ice/Dragon to try and spread my chances for points if Frigibax ended up being the one. Or you could try and back yourself to get everything right, aiming for maximum points by nailing the correct generation typing, final typing, and Pokemon. If it's a dual Pokemon again, I just combine the scoring as one because you can't cater for both types separately. More chances to get it right, I suppose. I disregard the year bet and just tally the scores like Kaz's Corner, but on a monthly basis. I know it's a low bar bet with no major consequences for anyone, like dyeing your hair Pikachu yellow, unless you want to, but it's meant to get everyone on a level playing field and avoid the feeling that some have different skill levels, like in ELO-based bets, or it can be tough to race to legend, because not everyone can do that. Lol. If anyone actually picks the correct Pokemon, you could let them put in their own forfeit of choice for the losers, because honestly, you've reached God-level Super Saiyan Coriander status to get that right. Fair enough. Even if you're the loser of the week, you can choose the major forfeit. And if it's just you, the forfeit could be nothing. But if it's you and someone else, then unfortunately that person will take the forfeit. If there's anything else I can clarify, just let me know. If everyone predicts, I'll tell you the scores for the next round and let you know who wins/loses. And then you'll get the idea of how the structure works. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're not going to make
I
a prediction
hard-
today just because Tristan's not here and he had to go. But we were planning on just doing the prediction next week. But what were you going to say?
I can't disagree enough with the suggestion of how the bet
What?
works in terms
You wrote this yourself at night when you were making soap.
I just wanted to create drama. I'm going for clips. I'm trying to cause some ruckus here.
To clarify
But,
to anyone that's a new listener, this is not the same. Who is Josh? It's not the
Yeah.
same Josh we have here. Or is
We
or is
tease.
he?
Or is he?
Or is it?
Is
There's no
Unless
You've never seen us both in the same room. I can promise you that much. But I don't know. Like, as Caleb said, we're all only going to have like 1 or 2 for most of these things. So like, we don't really have a big storage. So transferring 1 isn't a big deal. And I feel like transferring shinies means much more, personally. But
What if? So I just thought of this too, because I'm thinking like, what's something that like, it's like you don't want the punishment to be so easy. You're like, whatever. I get it wrong. You want it to be like a little bit uncomfortable, but not too unreasonable, right? What if the loser has to transfer? Doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter how many like just even if like let's say if Shelmet Caraboss are already out in the game, right? So you already have shinies to this. What you have to do is after that community day, at the very next episode, you have to transfer 90% of your shinies of that Pokemon. And round it up. So let's say if it's like just cut off, then you round up to it. So 90%. That's it's like uncomfortable,
10.
but it's
like you need 10 shinies from a com day, which
otherwise
am not sure how often I do that. Probably pretty not very often.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I do that even.
You lose all your shinies. What if we do like 75%? or 80%. 80% I
Well-
think is fine. If you catch 5 shinies,
Well-
you transfer 4 out of the 5.
Yeah, I
But
think
you'll know ahead of
75
time before going into the comp day how many if you are going to be the one that has transfer or not. So you could be like, I don't really care about the Carrot Blast stuff. I'll just do whatever. But you're like, shoot, I really want more Arctibac shinies, so I'm gonna just catch a bunch. And because I think if you transfer 80% or like even 90%, it's like fine because if you get a really nice shiny, you can still keep it, but you don't get a lot of extras to like store. Obviously, you can wait till December to catch more, right? Like, but it's like a little bit uncomfortable because you have to kind of pick and choose which shinies you keep. Whereas right now, it's like I'm just gonna keep like 6 or 7 shinies, to trade, reroll, whatever, just to have to look at, right? So I have some for the decks.
I think 75 is probably good because that's like, like a quarter. It's probably pretty easy to imagine like how many you would want to catch to like make up for that. And it's a little bit easier to do if you're like short on time or perhaps under the weather or, something like that.
True.
If there are unforeseen circumstances, you're not like, kind of shoved too far over the edge.
75 rounded up.
Yeah, we can go 75. Rounds it
All
up.
right.
That seems
Well, Tristan doesn't really
reasonable
get a vote because he's not here. But we'll check in. We'll check in with Tristan and see if he agrees with it or not. I'm not really going to like enforce it that harsh. But I think that'll be a way to make it like slightly uncomfortable, where like you like I got a couple good rank shinies, but I can't keep them all. And it's not the base form, just any. So even if you evolve some, it don't matter, right? I don't care if you evolved it into a Scavalier already. It still counts towards your shiny percent.
And just for reference, I have like 5 of each of these families like in my Pokedex already. So that shows you like how little I also store.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is why I think the Iridium pre-storage one, I don't hate the idea from Josh, but I think this makes it like a little bit more punishing, which makes it feel a little more competitive, Like if C just had to power up his Dedenne one time, who cares, right? What's the stress? But now he's down 193,000 Stardust.
293. And to be clear, I'm like I have 1.1 million now, so it's like I don't have a lot. like that's a sixth of my Stardust.
Whoa.
It's,
well, good thing you don't play Ultra League.
Yeah, that Steelix is not getting powered up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll see what Josh and others think of that as well as Tristan. Eighth the Great says, "Yep, Boglish the GOAT. If you know, you know." I just wrote LOL in response to that. Okay, so I'll give the backstory here because I'm not like ashamed of admitting this, but I just remember at Sacramento, Boglish was made it really far. His best career finish, right, 4th place, and got a medal and everything, and he played really well. But I remember personally, I had my doubts. I wasn't sure if he was going to do it, right? Because I've seen Boglish at other tournaments, and he's always like a fairly regular top cutter, right? High seed in his pool, but never got that medal finish, top 3, top 4, whatever, right? Maybe didn't make it as far into day 2s, but definitely someone not to like sleep on. But I think admittedly, I kind of slept on him a little bit in Sacramento. He did way better than me, of course, and he beat a lot of players too. I think I saw him make like kind of a weird play against Out of Pocket in that first match he had on that day 2. I was just like, dude, what? Like, I was like, dude, Boglish is going to be out right away, right? Like 2 rounds and he's out, right? Like just takes the O2 on day 2. Funny enough, it was me that took the O2 on day 2, but he actually kept going through the loser bracket. He made a really crazy loser bracket run, actually. Made it all the way to loser semis after losing right off the bat, right, to a Pocket. And again, like it's just one weird play. I think it like overemphasized it. So the whole time I was thinking like, nah, no, Boggers don't got this. Boggers don't got this. But he kept proving me wrong. And 8th grade was there too. He's like, hey, I'm telling you, don't you sleep on Boggers. Just like, you're right. Also, funny enough, I feel like Boggers, unrelated completely, looks a lot like Frostfire when they're battling on stage. Is that just me? It's not like if you look at it like their faces are like different, but they're both like pretty tall guys, right? And when they look down, like it's like from that profile view, it looks so much like Frost. I was like, what happened? I was like, obviously Frost at a few events. I was like, wait, he's right there. And he also wears the red Play Pokemon shirt just like Frostfire does. Just look it up. Look up Sacramento Day 2, right? And if you're just looking at Boglish like while he's playing on stage, I don't know. It wasn't just me that thought this, right? But okay. I thought that they looked eerily similar.
If you say so.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Boglish should get
it. Yeah, no? I don't see it the way you do, but you know.
I don't see a lot of things the way people do, apparently.
That's so true.
Anyways, next comment. Artemis Dragon says at the 520 mark, I actually see some solid takeaway from this community. Carablast and Shelmet open up a door to options that didn't meet the criteria before. In this case, we will now see a dual community for Pokemon that only evolved once that cost 25 to 50 candy, whereas before it was Pokemon that evolved twice, required 400 candies, or had regional forms.
Magmar Octobus.
I know. I'm just laughing because like this reminds me of like people with like first to hit legend that's like
Yeah.
playing only on Ethernet or something like a very like specific
Yeah.
clarification. I'm not making fun
So
of
many
Artist Dragon, but that's
qualifiers.
just like what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And the Artist Dragon continues. Niantic, if you're listening, Murkrow and Volibee community in October could be hot. That actually is a cool one because no. It's not Murkrow and Volibee, actually. It's Volibee and Rufflet. They're like mirror, kind of. Not in stats, but like every Volibee's female and every Rufflet's a male, I think. Which again, I don't really know how they reproduce at that point. But Kaz, I thought you would know this. You had like I know something that Kaz don't know. I see her Google it.
No, I'm going.
But they're like counterparts, I think. Anyway,
they are counterparts, like just in terms of like they're next to each other in the decks. They have like sort of different typings, but they're similar. Sort of, they're both birds, obviously.
Yeah, both birds.
And I will, and also we do get the Hisuian Braviary that is like the psychic typing to counter like the dark typing of like, oh my god, Mandibuzz.
Yeah.
Mind blanked for a second. And I will say, like, just from a Pokedex standpoint, like, there's a reason, like, other than being next to each other in the Pokedex, like, there's a reason that Shelmet and Carablast are kind of related, like, story-wise.
Yeah.
That they are paired together as well. Tune into Kaz's Corner next week to find out more about that.
But wait, are they all male and all female? Like their respective?
No.
Oh,
yes. Rufflet, I looked up 100% male.
That's so weird. How do they reproduce? Okay, I'm thinking about the wrong thing, I guess. But
get your mind out of the gutter, Caleb.
It's not about gutter. It's just like Pokemon biology right here. But also like Volibee is always female, right?
Yes, that is accurate.
Interesting. They might be related. Anyway, yeah. Either way, like I'm not saying the Murkrow and Volibee wouldn't be a bad pairing either, but that's just something that came to my mind. Artemis Dragon also says, and small tangent, they really could have done better with Escavalier. Selgor is a lost cause overall, but Escavalier learned some really good moves in the main series game. Maybe it's just too late in the season. Who knows? Yeah, or they give it like Razor Shell, but they give it a better move later on, like that from like just a GBL update and not make it exclusive, which I wouldn't hate. It's kind of like Clodsire with Megahorn. I'm like, I don't really care that Clodsire has Megahorn, honestly. Like, I could care less because as an exclusive move, because people aren't TMing and need it, right? So it makes the game more accessible by giving it trash moves on community days, in my opinion. Speaking of which, I did lose to a Megahorn Clodsire the other day, so I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's trash. Artemis also says, how do you make PvP more challenging? There's a ton they could do, but for now, I'd like more interesting Pokemon like Psywave Lapras that Tristan suggested, and Show 6 Pick 3 being in the preferred GBL. Being the preferred GBL, 3 minute to set your team, lock in, go. Yeah, I mean, I think some of the moveset stuff could be interesting. I just remember distinctly that in our episode with Michael Saranka, when Speedy actually brought up the Show 6 Pick 3 in like in-game, like GBO or like in-game ladder kind of stuff. I don't think he said like a hard no, but I think I remember him saying that it's just not like on the timetable of Niantic. So maybe that could have changed because again, that was like 2-3 years ago. So, but again, I mean, I support those things. I just don't know how feasible.
I would also put out there. I mean, there are lots of other ways that are less sort of coding intensive. I think that we could potentially see updated first. The first one that comes to my mind is like Pokemon abilities. How would you incorporate that, into the game and into PvP? And there's also like just the idea that we could add another charge attack, or perhaps add another fast attack. You know, those are kind of less intensive things that I think might happen first that would change the kind of skill base that we see right now, or at least add more nuance to it.
Yeah.
I think those are, as much as I also would love to see show 6 in GBL. I also think that is so far removed from where we are now that we gotta scale down our ambitions a little bit.
Yeah. I do think it needs a slight change, but I've said my piece before. Bortsev says, looks like someone ran a RuneScape scam on Caleb, offered to double his points in Kaz's corner. See, this is why I spent 20 plus minutes describing this story, because I know some people were definitely curious what happened. And this will probably go up. This episode will probably go up before I post my own YouTube video on what happened. But I will fully. But I'm planning on making a YouTube video because I think it would just be fun to talk about it. And I'm like going to include screenshots and like pictures of Ashley Kingston on her LinkedIn, the one that, you know.
Yeah, I'm calling you out,
one.
Ashley.
Yeah. Ashley, someone's speaking on your behalf. Oh man, one of my cats are throwing up right now, a hairball. Anyway, and then Eek Dice Lana says, "Hey Caleb, what happened with your YouTube channel?" Well, hopefully by the time you hear this comment, that you've already heard the first 20 minutes of the podcast. But if you somehow skipped all the way to here and didn't hear it, tune into that part. But that does it for our YouTube comments and pretty much our episode. I don't think we're really missing out too much. I think we'll probably all try to work on a jingle demo next week.
Maybe.
You laughed, but I think we should do it. We'll see how Kaz is feeling, you know, if her voice clears up and everything. And
I have not been able to do my usual carpool karaoke that I do just all by myself. So whenever I can do that, that's when I will.
What she's trying to tell us is she's a singer and she's ready to make a jingle.
I mean, I can sing. I cannot compose music.
Well, this jingle would be like
I was in
10
show
seconds.
choir in high school.
Oh.
Got the pipes.
All right. Look, I know you all usually vote
But
for Kaz's like artwork and cookies and stuff. Not a bad time to vote for her music too. That's all I'm saying. You know, you don't want to hear my jingle all the time.
But again, I can't like compose music. Like the songs that I make up for myself are just so stupid. You don't.
Hey, quick reminder to everyone too, right? Listening to this podcast, especially if you're not on the YouTube version, because I assume most people on the YouTube version that listen to it are already subscribed to your channel. But if you're a podcast only, audio only listener, be sure to subscribe to our podcast channel anyway, because if you can, then we can start eventually posting community polls once we hit like 1,000 subscribers, and then we can do votes there, because not everyone has X, but most people have access to YouTube. So
also, then maybe we have a bit more credence when our account gets hacked, and we can contact Team YouTube.
That's right. You're right. Yeah. I will say too, I did change the password for the Battle Cat stuff too, just in case, because you know.
Do you hear that, Ashley?
Yeah, it's not really Ashley. Come on,
you're not getting your crypto bros in here.
I just don't get it. They did so little to my actual account besides just being a nuisance. Stop me from playing PvP for like a couple hours and like didn't transfer anything.
And yet you couldn't even help me or Josh win the bet.
Dude, I didn't know where you two were at. I was just like, I just need to try and hit this before we record this episode, you know? Oh yeah, Ashley. Yeah. I thought you meant me. I was like, I'm looking out for me right now because
no.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you all next week. Have a good one. Peace out.